It is. Alrighty, and we are live. Hey
Yeah.
everyone, Dangerous Freedom here, and as usual, got my brother Detroit Preppin, aka Roger, running for Congress in the Michigan's District 12,
District 14.
14. Okay.
Yes, sir. Um, I'll tell you what. I don't know how you want to start this conversation out, but I'd love to tell everybody here about my week shopping in Michigan.
Okay,
You got time for that?
we got time for that.
All right. Well, I've done some shopping just to kind of feel out how things are, see how people are responding to this unprecedented lockdown we're having. And I noticed two major things. The first thing I noticed is every place I went had pre-printed signs informing everybody that per the CDC guidelines, a mask was required. Failure to comply would result in severe ramifications, if I'm not quoting the signs actually correct, but to that point. And I didn't see more than 50% compliance from shoppers. I did not see more than maybe 80, 90% compliance from employees at the stores. I even saw a off-duty police officer not wearing a mask or gloves or
Yeah.
goggles, all that other stuff.
Oh, I
Entered
think.
the store fully decked out with his police credentials in plain sight and proceeded to do his shopping at a Lowe's in my neighborhood. So I guess I'm kind of weirded out by the whole thing, especially with our governor being so. I don't even know if I'm using the word draconian right in this situation, but I mean, to close all these businesses, to force all these people to shelter in place seems to be far worse than the virus.
Oh yeah.
And the amount of people that are going to be destitute, hungry, um, basically turned into refugees in some cases. I
I'm
mean,
telling you, they're working on it really hard. We were all worried about wave two being the economic part. Wave one was the actual coronavirus. It came through, everybody freaked out, lost their shit, and then we got through it, and it's like, it's okay. This thing's nowhere near as deadly as we thought, and now we're in wave two. Okay, my hours were cut back to 24 hours for a work week. Okay, and now we're looking at, just my company is looking at another 2 weeks off, no pay. So they were like, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and bring you in for one of the weeks and then you'll have the other week off. And I was like, okay, at least I'll get, a few hours for 1 week. And then I got the message yesterday. They're like, no, anybody, they just don't want anybody there.
well,
So,
look what's going on in Detroit, dangerous. They're trying to open the big three. First, it started out as voluntary, now it's mandatory. They were open for 13 hours, something like that. And a person that was working found out that the results of their coronavirus test were positive, so they had to shut the line down again to remove
well,
that person. I mean, what
hey, what's
what
up,
what
Lone
kind of madness is this, dude? How
Star?
is this ever going to be possible to fucking sustain? And just like we're not making cars, you know what that means? Dangerous, like you talked about a little bit earlier. That
Yep,
means you're not shipping us explosive for our airbags manufacturers.
exactly.
So your 24 hours is going to then turn into what? 12 hours? You're just going to come in, package up everything in a day, and
and
call
that's
it
it.
quits? I mean, how is this even going to be possible with, like everybody's been saying, the price of meat being increased,
Yep.
shipping on products is going to go up 400% in order to maintain the post office.
Well,
I mean,
even,
what what
like,
are we not in the phase 6.5 yet? Everybody's talking about wave two.
it's getting there.
What,
I'll tell
what,
you. Okay, so
what
they cut
about the
my
other
hours.
short
Now
wave
check this.
nobody's
Now check
talking
this
about?
out. Where my sister works, they brought them they brought them all into a conference room on just yesterday, and they're like, okay, here's the deal. We either have to cut your pay by 10%, or you can find another job. Those are the options. And I asked my sister, I was like, well, why don't the higher ups take a pay cut? She's all like, they did. She's like, the higher ups just in my office took a 20% cut, and the people above them took an even higher cut, just so that they could try and keep everybody working. So, I mean, I thought that was kind of nice of them. They're at least, they're all doing it, and then she said there's a few of the like, um, not like the minimum wage type people. Hey, Miss Mary. And she said, they're already on the lowest totem pole already, and they didn't mess with their pay. So,
Can
but
I tell the story of my great grandmother and my grandmother? When I was a little kid growing up, they always had a garden. They always grew vegetables. They always grew, um, you know, the things that they like to eat: carrots, greens, cabbages, stuff like that. And it wasn't because my grandmother and great grandmother didn't have money coming in or whatever, but they used to always tell the story about the one thing they can take away from you is food. And there's nothing you can do about it after that. Once the food is gone, there's not much more that you can hope to do. You won't even have the energy to fight back because you're
mm,
hungry. And I wonder how many people at this point right now are starting to realize, and I mean, obviously more than usual because of how the stores are looking. How much food it's going to take for a person to sustain themselves through no place to go, no store to pick it up at, and if there is a store to pick it up at, you need a wheelbarrow full of money, and they can pass out all these stimulus dollars and unemployment compensations and call it what you want, stimulate me, in words, but not factually. How are we going to maintain this? How are we going to
We're not.
continue to go to a store that costs $25,000 a month just to keep the lights on and buy
This
food
isn't
that
meant for
costs?
sustainment, though, Detroit.
What, what is that?
This is not meant for sustainment. Okay.
that way I got to
Well,
put that on the screen. Where is that?
well, what's going on right now is it's by design. Currently, you have advocates on the left that want to bring socialism to America. And the step one of that plan is to destroy the economy. Now, the coronavirus just happened to be a convenient reason. This is what they wanted.
Hey,
And
dude,
with the stimulus bill, you actually see a lot of this being pushed out. Now, the reason why it's $3 trillion is because they're trying to bail out the states who made poor investments and made decisions like, we're going to have a pension that is going to pay you 85% of your salary for your high 3 years for the rest of your life with zero investment into it. Now, it's not the American taxpayers' problem that these individual states made these stupid decisions. However, Uncle Sugar is going to come in and bail them out because who's a good bitch? Who's a good bitch? I mean, that's really what it's about. Of course, the bill, the $3 trillion stimulus bill, is most likely going to die in the Senate, and Donald Trump has already come out and said, "I'm going to veto it so hard immediately." And
I've unfortunately seen Mr. President Trump change his mind on a hard left
Look, you know,
more than once.
there is a lot of things in there's a lot of things that positions can change over time. Hell, some of my positions have changed. Recently, I started to think more of the internet as more of a utility.
I thought you were going to say you agreed with the no bump stocks.
The bump stock's novelty, dude. I thought it was dumb that he banned that.
I think it's like the stupidest thing, dude. If some asshole wants to waste all their fucking bullets, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
I fucking want them to, dude.
Look, I was in the military. I was in combat zones, and the use of automatic fire, it only comes up in specific instances. It's an aerial denial tool. That's all it is. Area denial. You're not going to use automatic fire for anything of any true sharp shooting or marksmanship. It's literally just to lay down a field of fire to put people on their bellies.
Aircraft. I don't know how much military training you have, and I don't know if it's even possible, but I'll investigate the possibilities of it later. What do you think about triple burst shots as opposed to binary triggers?
Well,
do you think there's any value in any of those two setups? 3 burst automatic, or I guess 3 burst does not mean it's automatic, but 3 burst select fire, or at using a binary trigger.
Well, when I was in the Army, they trained us to shoot what they called controlled pairs. So since the M16, the M4, it's a 5.56 round, it is pointless to shoot one round. You want to shoot at least 2 rounds. You want to put 2 rounds in the body to shock the body enough to make it want to drop. Because the idea of that round is not to kill immediately, it is to incapacitate. So it takes 2 other people to carry that body out of harm's way. So instead of taking 1 person out of the fight, you're taking 3.
Yeah.
So 3-round burst. 3-round burst is just for tryhards. That's honestly, I think I've used it once, not in training, and it was because we had so much ammo that there was not a concern of running out. But no, a well-trained individual can pump out 2 shots in less than a second and put them on target. Yeah. So you don't even need the binary trigger. All you need is, I mean,
what is that, a belt loop?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's up? And we got Cheshire.
One second, I'm having a hard time hearing you guys.
Kind of, sneaking around the corners and listening to your conversations, but carry on.
Well, I mean, that's kind of what you do. It's okay.
Here, let me restart this.
It's
all right.
But when you talk about the stimulus bill, it was written in the House for a reason, in a Democrat-controlled House. Mm-hmm. But something that we need to pay attention to right now that's a little bit more important than this $3 trillion intentional devaluing of the U.S. dollar is this previous week, the Patriot Act was reauthorized.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I heard about that. And I heard they allowed the FBI to start warrantless searches.
Well, no. They're starting to allow. They're going to allow the government to dig into your internet searches.
Well, that was already allowed. I actually did a video on this week. I released it Thursday, and basically it was talking. No, I released it Friday, and it talked about this exact topic. And I even named the names of who voted against and did not vote.
Oh yeah,
because it's one thing to talk about what it is. It's another thing to name names. And you would think immediately, hey, this sounds like something maybe one side would have agreed with more than the other. And the sad part is, no, this was truly a bipartisan effort. This effort lost by 1 vote. 4 people did not vote. So, I mean, when you see people like, let's see, Bernie Sanders didn't vote. Tom Cotton voted no. I mean, I went through and named all the names, and you saw Democrats, Republicans, all through there. And this bill was actually proposed. This amendment was proposed by Congressman Wyden from Oregon and Congressman Daines. I need to look him up, see, but he's a Republican. So this was a Democrat Republican who brought this proposal ahead, and it's just like Steve Daines. He is where in California.
Hey, Rui, Dorothy, good to see you, brother.
Oh no, Montana. So he represents Montana now. He was born in California, but okay. So you had two. You had a Republican and a Democrat bring this amendment forward, and it couldn't pass. Congress does not want you to have your Fourth Amendment rights.
No, they don't. They don't want us to have any rights. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're chipping them away one by one. That's what they're doing.
Well, the Fourth has been gone for a long time. I mean, we gave those up. We gave that up immediately after 9/11 with the Patriot Act, and even though it's been revamped,
most of the first, second, and third have been trampled on, and
no one cares. No one cares for some reason. I talk about it on my channel, and people are a little upset. But it's interesting that more people aren't talking about this. In fact, you see it in articles online, but you don't see the news covering it on television one bit. Now, is that part of media going, oh, it's a non-story? Or are they are they in collusion with these people? Or what? I'm not going to sit there and tell you got to come to your own conclusion on that. But the fact that the American populace is not being informed about this stuff. In fact, I called my senators and I raised holy hell. I called Jim Inhofe and I was talking to one of his staffers and I said, I want a reason. I want a reason why he voted against this. And if it is anything beyond, I don't support the Fourth Amendment, I won't even think that it's a legitimate reason, because that's all you were saying. When you're sitting there telling people, oh, we don't want the government to have to get a warrant to search through your internet history. They have to get a warrant now to check your locator on your cell phone device, because no cell phone made after 9/11 does not have a GPS device. I don't know if everyone knew that.
Well, they're trying to push this whole contact tracer thing, and
the contact tracing, they already have the capability to do it. They are just trying to sign off on it.
What's up, man?
So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on right now, and we need to be calling our representatives, our senators, our congressmen and women. We need to be calling people in the state houses, and we do not need to be polite about it. You know, everyone says, oh, they want the boogaloo. Well, before you get to the boogaloo, you got to pick up the phone and you got to call people who are making these decisions that you don't agree with, and you let them know that they're messing up and that their opportunity to continue in that job is in danger.
They know that they're messing up.
Well, if you don't tell them that you know they're messing up.
You know what? At this point, I think that we are already under a one-party system, but we have the illusion that we have two.
Wow.
Well, you're not too wrong. Because you do see, and I see nothing wrong with bipartisan work. I truly don't. In fact, I think that's the way it should be. There should be compromise on both sides.
You know, and it's obvious that the people that are in these positions in office are slimy, slippery snakes. You know, I wouldn't put it above any one of these communists to run as Republican and then pass commie policies with the help of other commies on the other side of the aisle. That's what they do. They're crooked. So, you know, we're only under the illusion of a two-party system. But we've literally been taken over a long time ago, and we're a one-party system. It's all an illusion. And now what they're starting to do is they let us go with the illusion that we're free. They let us go with the illusion that we still had our constitutional rights. And now that they've gotten enough power, they're starting to show us who they are, and it's because they feel comfortable in doing so. It's basically the dynamics of your classic abusive relationship.
Well, I definitely think having any party is a crime against the nation. I mean, was it George Washington that said that the parties would be the end of this great republic?
It's something like that. Yeah.
Is he the first president, the first true general?
Yeah.
I mean, for him to have that type of insight.
They all did. I mean, pretty much all of our forefathers. I mean, from Ben Franklin to Thomas Jefferson and Patrick Henry, they all had sayings that they said back then after they just fought this horrific battle, and they're just as true today, if not more so.
They not only gave us the blueprint on how to fix the problem, they told us how we would end up in these problems.
Well, that was because they saw it play out in Europe. These guys, you know, these dynamics were going on in Europe.
And they still are today going on.
So they
knew.
Keep
going on, cyclical, over and over again.
I'm on live.
Well, it's because there's two different kinds of people, regardless of how you slice it. There's those of us that want our freedom. There's those of us who want our self-sufficiency, and there's literally those that like to be ruled. And what's really strange is it's almost like a romanticized thing. Have you kind of seen almost how it's like a romanticized, like some of these people have this romanticized, like these people who want the victimhood. It's almost like I don't know how to describe it, but it's almost like a romanticized version of oppression that they think is kind of sexy and surreal, but they don't even know the reality of it. But for some reason, they actually think it makes them moral. It's like BDSM, only political.
They're trying to take your sympathy. That's why they do that.
Well, through emotional blackmail is what it is.
Yeah, I've definitely seen the victim card thrown down on the table more times than it should be. And at some point, it's like you're only a victim as long as you allow yourself to be a victim.
Well, and people treat you the way you allow yourself to be treated. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's kind of a takeaway for anybody. It doesn't matter who you are.
But that gives room for any sort of thing. Like, there's no excuse for like being a rude individual, like just straight out an asshole.
Well, there's plenty of reason.
Sometimes
there's a reason.
I live that daily.
I feel like PDX
to oppress innocence.
There's
here's the thing
no
about being rude, and this is something. And trust me, I go out and I will have people be rude or snappy with me when I haven't done anything wrong. However, there's a harsh lesson that I learned about that, and I think people need to pay attention to this. When you make things about you, it will become about you. So if you run into a rude, snappy person and you make that about you, and then, you start feeding that, it will become about you, and it might be a way that you don't like. So let them be rude, walk away, and go do you. I don't understand.
I definitely think that's.
Well, you can't let them walk all over. You got to stand up to them.
That doesn't mean it's not a problem.
Well, there's a good and a bad way to stand up for yourself.
Right.
You don't have to be completely. You don't have to go into Karen. I need to see your manager mode or anything like that. There's several times where I've literally just talked to someone and demeaned them, and they can't pick it up because limited vocabulary.
This is the way I see it. Agree to disagree, right?
Right.
So they say what they want to say.
I'm not.
You say what you want to say, but that's it.
Well, eventually it comes down
That's
to the
not
point, though. Eventually, there does come a point, though, where when you're discussing more than just ideas. If you're discussing ideas, that's one thing. But when you generally have someone who is physically taking from you, certain things, certain like rights. When people are taking away your rights, there will come a point where agree to disagree no longer works. Now, it's not something I advocate for. In fact, that there's been several times I've been on here talking about how we need to do everything smartly and we need to allow to try to work the system before we go off the handle. But there does come that point where that line in the sand is drawn and you've got to piss on it and walk over it and keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
So the agree to disagree.
Well, that's different. Agree to disagree. That's different than somebody saying you give me this or else.
Yeah.
One of them is you guys have two different cognitive distance or differences in how you're processing something and different ideas of how to get somewhere. The other one, somebody is literally playing a zero-sum game with you, a give me or else.
And see, right now we are starting to progress towards that this or else. And that's why I'm still saying, hey, you need to be calling your senators, your congressmen.
I don't know if we're progressing towards that, if we're not.
And what if that doesn't work, Sparky?
Well, when it doesn't work, once you've exhausted all efforts.
Indeed, they do.
Who happens?
But how many people do
try.
you think are actually going to be down for that, really?
Well, I mean, and there's a reason why they're called 3%ers, because it only took 3% of the colonists to rise up.
Amen.
Well, then you got 3%, but then also think about all the people that support the 3%.
Exactly. Yeah. So I mean,
the people who will give quarter, the people who will give food, the people who will actually dress wounds, the people that will do things for these 3%ers as they do. So I mean, there's more than that. There's probably a lot more sympathizers for the 3% in a case of a communist takeover than you would think.
Oh yeah.
No offense.
And I'm telling you that this snake that is trying to constrict us is not as big as you think it is. It's making it look bigger than it is.
The thing about it is it's hidden. That's the biggest problem. It's hidden. That's why it's hard to.
Sight. You don't
see
it.
It's not hidden. It's far from hidden.
It is in plain sight, and that's why we see it.
No, the way they come down on us and their authority, but the way they live is in secrecy.
No, I've got to push back on that, because if so, then you wouldn't see people like Officer Greg Evans, who was recently released from the Port of Seattle Police Department.
You mean Gary Anderson or Greg Anderson?
Greg Anderson, yeah.
With G. Anderson, yeah.
Yeah. When he put out his video, it went viral immediately.
Oh yeah, I think he's a millionaire at this point.
And once it was announced that he was put on administrative leave pending termination, the GoFundMe's, immediately went over I think $600,000 when last I checked, and that was in less than 24 hours. And then you saw Shelley Luther down in Dallas, who stood in front of the judge and said, "I'm not apologizing for wanting to feed my children," and it went viral immediately. And honestly, I think the only thing that she could have done just slightly better is she would have said, "I'm sorry, Your Honor. No disrespect, but I refuse to kiss the ring."
That is going to be the trick. Do you remember what I was talking about a few live streams ago about passive resistance?
Mm-hmm.
These guys are the ones trying to take from us. We're not asking for anything. We just want to keep our rights.
Exactly.
trying to take them. So passive resistance is going to be paramount. And we can be
I
successful with it.
The thing about that, Cheshire, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in the 3%ers. No offense.
You don't know any of them. That's why.
Yeah.
I actually do.
Can I say something to Johnny boy?
Yeah,
Thanks
go
for stopping by the chat. Arizona is awesome. I don't know if you've been over to Uman's channel, but I visited Arizona, spent a couple days. We made tons of videos. Go over and check out Uman's channel. And I don't think I could ever live in Arizona, only because I didn't see enough animals and enough green trees. Beautiful country to ride through, but I don't think I could live there. I need at least an oak tree and a maple tree in the yard.
Yeah.
I can actually comprehend that. I grew up in the great state of MI, crooked letter I, crooked letter I, back I, and well,
Swampland.
oh man, yeah, definitely down in the swamps down there on the coast. And when I moved up here to the great state of mediocrity, aka Oklahoma, I really miss the color green. I mean, you wouldn't think that, but there's really not that many trees here, and I do miss the color green. But there's no work for me where I lived in Mississippi, and I don't want to live up North Mississippi because.
Well, I'll tell you what. I go visit my brother out in California. He's in Southern, and I'll tell you what. While we're sitting around drinking beers and shooting airsoft guns, it's beautiful. There's no insects. There's no night life. There's no creatures crawling. But I'll tell you what,
is a beautiful state. It's the politics that ruin it.
It's still weird to not see things that creep and crawl and see piles of moss and all those things that I've been used to over these 40-year plus I've lived on this earth.
Well, of course, now if you went up north, up around San Francisco, you see piles of other stuff. Little brown, but you know.
Trust me, I had American bulldogs and English mastiffs. I know how big the piles get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what do you think, Cheshire, about the mask wearing? Do you think we should be wearing these masks, or what's going on? Did you make any masks? You got a sewing machine like I do, or?
No, I have not made any masks. However,
me neither.
I do. Okay. To tell you the truth, guys, and you guys are going to completely shoot me for this, but here's my rationale.
I don't own any guns, so I won't be shooting.
Yeah, y'all ain't going to shoot me.
Yeah, you don't own any guns. Yeah. They lost them in that
masks are pointless.
They are.
Especially because the masks that most people are wearing, there's nothing covering the nose part. Now, I wear glasses full time. And the masks that I wear fog up my glasses, meaning that my breath is actually escaping and aerosolizing into the surrounding areas.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go out, I wear one. Do you want to know why?
I'm interested in knowing.
Because regardless of how I'm feeling about it, there's a lot of people that are on edge right now.
Mm-hmm.
They are way on edge.
I like those people on edge.
Yeah, they are on edge. You got the Karens. So basically what I'm doing is I'm blending in until I can, and then what I'm doing is I'm running into people into stores and I slowly strike up conversations with them. And I'm trying to, just plant little seeds of doubt as I go.
Is that the gray cat method?
It's the
gray cat.
It's well, Sparky, what was I talking about a few live streams ago? Yeah. I was talking about going subversive.
Yeah. I have to
Karens don't recognize me as a disagreeer of the program if I'm wearing a mask myself, even though I grossly disagree with it. And it actually allows me to really move amongst people. And they're more receptive to what I have to say because I'm wearing a mask.
You know what I do enjoy, though? I do enjoy running into another person without a mask and saying to them, holy shit, there's another normal person.
Right.
The what?
They
The
don't
way-
usually talk to me, but they do give me a smile.
There is kind of something fun though about walking into stores now with my face covered and nobody busts me or thinks it's suspicious. There's something fun about that. You know,
It's still scary in a place here like Detroit. That's for
Hey,
sure.
what's up, JTR?
What's up,
I'm
Jack?
encouraging people not to wear a mask because those doubts, that's their problem. That's the way I see it.
Well, okay.
you want to
When
know
I
something?
go in-
Anybody not wearing a mask, I don't begrudge them for doing it. You can either do it or not. It makes no
Yeah.
difference to me.
When I go into a place of business, if they say we require people to wear a mask, I'll put a mask on just because I want to go shopping there. When I go to work, they require me to wear a mask. I'm going to just because that is a condition of me being able to earn money. Otherwise, I don't wear it, but I don't begrudge anyone that does. It's
Dude, they have like
choice. I believe in freedom, and
So do I.
that is part of it. And hijacked you, Ripper. And you know what? I hear you saying all hell cones Snell, but pretty soon I'm going to be telling you about real fake news from real fake people.
So we've got a surveillance state, and they've got surveillance cameras everywhere. It might be prudent to start wearing masks.
Well, yeah, but normally,
Well, that was my whole conspiracy theory about the mask. I was thinking they got the surveillance stuff already figured out. Now they're trying to figure out how to make it work with everybody wearing a fucking disguise so they can pull you out of the lineup even if you're wearing a mask. I mean, are we helping these people or what?
it's
all set up, stand 6 foot apart with the mask on so we can get your image scanned in good a couple dozen times a day.
Well, it's really funny because where I'm at, people are wearing masks, but we are not social distancing. We're not staying 6 feet away. And it's funny because I'm actually going out and talking and interacting with people more than I did before this dropped,
I was in a protest today with over 100 people. I went to 2 different protests, and there's like 100 at the first one, and then there's like, I would say like 50 at the other one.
Right on.
And then I'm going to a church service tomorrow. I'm going to have me a church service.
Right on.
Did you go over to the famous Antifa bar and take a dump on the sidewalk there?
we all got a nice big picture, all of us like not social distancing, like all 100 of us, right on the Capitol grounds. It was awesome. We were like all hugging each other and close together. Man, you know that makes them so mad when we're out there, talking amongst ourselves. Like a bunch of freedom-loving people that are just talking amongst ourselves. They hate that because it means that we are coming together, and they do not want that.
Well, do you wonder because remember before all this dropped, they were trying to really split us apart with the identity politics. And I don't think that worked as well as they thought that it was going to. And so now they're literally trying to keep us apart through quote unquote social distancing.
Well, it's not that they want to keep us physically apart. They just really want us more ideologically divided. That way we're not listening to each other.
Right.
And I think that was more of the point of the identity politics crap. And the social distancing, I mean, really, how loud are you willing to talk? Me, I will yell across a freaking store. And I'll be like, refresh the tree. And
guys.
Well, here's the deal about wearing masks. I used to work in a mask every day, all day, 12 hours a day, 5 days a week.
God.
When I worked in a hospital. So I don't have any issues with getting air or any issues breathing. It does fog my glasses up, but I don't really like that very much. But it's tolerable. But I'm used to wearing and breathing in a mask.
People say they can't breathe. It differs with everyone.
It takes time to acclimate to. And it's going to be especially difficult. It's going to be especially difficult when the weather warms up and in areas where it's extremely humid. It's going to be rough to wear a mask in that.
The masks literally serve no purpose. They have like holes on the side, and like you said, the nose.
Because
It's
my breath
stupid.
escapes out because I can see it fogging up my glasses, and I'm walking around all blind. It's funny, but no, my breath is aerosolizing out around the mask anyway.
Yeah. What California critic? Riddle me this: why does everyone have to say assless chaps? Chaps are already assless. They always are.
True, they always have that.
Well, no, yeah. Well, you know what though? Chaps are something a cowboy wears. Assless chaps are something you would find in like a gimp shop.
Well, assless chaps
I've definitely never seen a pair of chaps with an ass in it.
underneath it. You know, I mean,
Well, I mean, cowboy chaps don't have an ass in them. They just cover up
Exactly.
the cowboy's legs. You know.
yeah, because chaps are assless. Period. You know,
Yeah.
now, you know, it's I've seen a lot of crazy stuff happening over the past week. I mean, we saw the reinstitutionalization of the Patriot Act, which, by the way, has been shut down since March.
Yeah.
But they reauthorized that. They are trying to make some changes to the FISA court and not really doing not doing very well with that. What is it? What do you have to do to actually get the American populace to want to get to know what's going on enough for them to actually vote informed? That's really my question. That's what I want. Because honestly, if I lived in Detroit and I hear the message that my man Preppin here is throwing out, chances are I would probably vote for him for councilman. You know, or I'd vote for him for state legislator or something like that, you know, because he actually has a pro-freedom message. But no, we go to these canned politicians that speak out, you know, their mouth.
Look at that.
I mean, riddle me this. How does San Diego keep sending Adam Schiff to D.C.? Because San Diego is a military town.
You like my new sticker?
Yeah, dude, I like the 3%
Yeah.
on there.
I missed it.
Oh,
No, it said I prefer dangerous freedom to peaceful slavery.
Oh, hells yeah, dude. There is just something, dude. Thomas Jefferson was a wordsmith.
hell yeah, he was, man. He's got they like we were talking about earlier. They all were. I mean, you know, even like the you know, they had the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists.
I
And
gotta
even
jump
that,
in here, guys. I gotta be honest with you. I mean, it's not very amazing that people have the command of the English language. It's often referred to as one of the hardest languages to learn, but I think all of us here have a complete mastery of it, dude. And no matter how they want to try to twist a word only means what that word means. No matter how many 1, 2, 3, 7 afterwards definitions it has.
Okay. California critic is correcting me. I apologize. I thought he was from the San Diego, the district of San Diego. Thank you for the correction. Evidently, he's from L.A. So yes, that would be a different demographic.
It's from Glendale near LA.
So
I remember.
Yeah, so I mean the
Armenians
words of the document are not so hard to understand. I mean, most of these people had barely what we would consider nowadays a high school education, let alone.
Well, a lot of your average layperson couldn't even read. Like your average person back in the time of the founders were illiterate. The women definitely were.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean that's my whole point. None of this is so hard to understand.
And people that couldn't even read. So, you know, but the founders were educated men. They were amongst a minority of educated men, and it was a minority of men that could read back in that time.
yeah.
Granted, but I would say every American in this country, or at least if I had to put a number on it, 89.9% can read and understand at the level that those men did.
Well,
and I don't understand how we have so much misunderstanding with what the laws of the land are. Not what they should be.
I don't think with the leadership that there's a misunderstanding of what the laws of the land are. What it is with the leadership, what it is with them is they basically are, what these people are acting like is they're acting like the damn papacy did in Europe. because
Yeah.
the Catholic Church in Rome was the law of the land in England before the Reformation. And what they did is they were the ones that interpreted the Bible, but often these men interpreted it in a way that suited their
Yeah,
interests.
but that's my whole point.
So-
Are we not smart enough to interpret simple words ourselves? They didn't use any word more than 8 letters in the
it seems
Constitution.
like what's going on are the people that are in power are acting like the papacy, and what they're doing is they are interpreting the Constitution and twisting it to fit their power narratives.
I
But you're also
definitely don't think
talking
they
about
can
people.
interpret and twist it. I think they can twist it, but
Yeah.
the interpretation of it is pretty simple.
You're talking
And
about
like I
people
said,
who don't know the
most
basic
words in the
what
Constitution
man and woman
are
is.
known to
Well,
any
what was that?
grade.
Sparky?
You're talking about people who pretend to not comprehend the difference between a man and a woman.
Well, no, they can comprehend the difference between a man and a woman. I think that they know the difference between a man and a woman, but I think that has darker. I think that there's a darker agenda behind that. And I think, namely, it has to do with sterilization, ultimately. Well, okay, so if you were, a lot of these people, Bill Gates has gone up to summits and he's talked about needing to depopulate. A lot of these elite people at the top have talked about wanting to basically thin the herd. Would you go to a bunch of parents and tell them that they had to sterilize their kids? Or would you get the parents to accept some diversity narrative that told them that transgenderism is a human right and that they should start pushing this ideology on their 5-year-old child to confuse their gender and then have their gender changed over so they're going to ultimately be sterilized and then feel pretty good about it?
I don't know if there's any confusion in my mind, but there's boys and girls.
Well, yeah. There is.
Whether you like boys or girls is irrelevant. There are still only boys and girls.
Correct.
That's
not what this is about, though.
As far as I feel, my government should have control over anything. There are boys, there are girls. How y'all deal with boys and girls is up to you as an individual.
Trans women are men.
Trans women are dudes.
Trans men are women.
Yeah, they are. I'm sorry, but
I'm not sorry.
A dude in a dress is not a woman.
Yeah. Look, I could actually. I got a picture.
I saw a guy in a dress on my way to Walmart today.
Well, okay.
And I was like, the guy next to me, the guy behind me, he was shaking his head too. And I was like, yeah, what is this? What is this coming to, man?
I gotta be honest with you.
And I told him, I was like, if you ever see me wearing that dress, please shoot me.
Well, what's really interesting is that these people that are at the top and they're like diversity and women's rights, but then trans rights, especially men who dress in dresses and pretend to be women, their rights are actually elevated above the rights of women, which is really interesting. And did you know that back in the day, and a lot of these people on the left complain about, religious theocracy and how oppressive it was to women. Well, back in the day in Europe, women couldn't even be in theater or anything. All the female parts were played by men wearing dresses.
So women were too busy being barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen, as God deserved it, as God designed it. I know that's my misogynistic.
I'm not saying I agree with the aircraft.
I'll be here all day.
Well, Sparky, just as you have an inner misogynist, I have an inner misandrist.
Fuck yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So you know what? I am not one to judge.
She's like barefoot and pregnant is the way to be. All right.
I don't know what any of that stuff means, but I do like to see
women have a basic drive to reproduce. It's just that things have become a little kind of complicated and a little bit of crazy. And I think
part of the problem, honestly, Cheshire, and hear me out for just a moment. I think Americans think they're worth more than what they really are. I mean, let's think about it. When you go to like a place like India, a place with over 1 billion people, a thriving land, if you will, they live off of like $6,000 a year. When you go to Eastern Europe, thriving population-wise, now not as much amenities.
They're not
admittedly.
thriving population-wise. They're not even replacing themselves. That's been the
Well,
excuse that the elites have used to flood their countries with a bunch of Middle
they're
Eastern.
not replacing themselves because education has told people that they told people the lie of we're overpopulating the earth. Here's the reality, ladies and gentlemen. You could fit the entire population of the world into the landmass of Rhode Island.
What?
Yes.
I've heard
You
them
could
say
fit
you
7
could
billion
put
That would
people
be
everybody
a
in
side by
miserable
side.
existence, though. But you're saying that Americans.
Social
Here's
distance
the
wise.
deal. Here's the deal about the United States versus the rest of the world is that we do have an exorbitantly high quality of life here.
We do.
Okay. Now,
Oh,
what is
hey.
being stripped from us? What is being
Because
stripped
we
from us?
have good values. Our foundation is based on good moral
What these
values.
elites are trying to do is they are literally trying to strip us to the level of the foreign slaves that they use in
They
their
are.
sweatshops.
They
Yeah,
are.
they're trying to
But-
replace us too.
But part of the deal is, and hear me out, the reason why manufacturing left is because the American worker has demanded more and more. I mean, Detroit Preppin lives in a third world country because the United Auto Workers decided that their general.
No, that's not the case. They're trying to replace us with robots and technology.
I think not only is PDX on point with this, I think Aircraft Sparky's making a perfect point as to what's going on in the poor, broke down city of Detroit.
Yeah, when
I
you
don't
have
think you're wrong in any sense of the
the idea of automation for factory line work. The reason why that even came about was because United Auto Workers decided that their employees should be making $35 to $40 an hour and can't be fired when they come in from lunch high.
It's
a liability.
It's one of those things. I mean, I know people right now, and I think I spoke about it earlier, that are going back to their jobs at the auto plants, and they're complaining. And there's two major complaints I hear, plenty more than two, but the two major complaints I hear is that, why do I have to go back to work when everybody else is sitting at home collecting a check?
I hear that all the time myself.
Yeah.
And the second biggest complaint I hear, which is kind of what I'm on board with, is, why are you guys going to stuff me back in this building and possibly make me sick with whatever's going around right now?
What I say to that.
Well, I was just going to say, as much as I agree with that, it's never happened before that when flu season came around, they shut the plants down. It's not even reasonable in my mind.
You see these things going on, but what a lot of people aren't even paying attention to is these people are choosing to go back. Their job may tell them to go back, but there's nothing legally binding to force them to go back. So they make that choice. So when they go, why are they doing this? It's like, it doesn't really matter why they're doing it. If you're worried about it, why are you complying?
Well, the people that are complaining about going back to work, to tell you the truth, these people make me lose faith that we're going to win this battle. And the reason, this is the reason I go back to work. I work in infrastructure. We're the ones keeping the roads and everything going.
Okay.
So now if we were to all stop and the roads fall apart, transportation is going to be a bitch. We're not going to be able to get food to and from. We're not going to be able to deliver. Like, it's a part of the interlocking that keeps this place going. So when I'm going to work,
so check out. I got to ask this: do you work through the government or through a private company?
I work in a private company.
Okay, so we technically don't need government to build our roads, right?
Absolutely not. We could do it ourselves.
I have built roads. I've done sidewalks.
But what I am willing to do, I am literally willing to go out and I'm willing to risk getting sick to prevent the economy from crashing.
Patriot, good to see you, brother.
Well, freedom.
This is what happens when you take God out, though, because it is our duty.
We don't
to go out and actually help our fellow man and fellow sisters in our country and love this land and all these great things, and it's not about focusing on other people. It's about doing your part.
Yep.
And that's what's been taken out, because
Yeah,
everyone
right.
wants to look back and just sit on their ass and, just
for me, the
complain.
most proactive thing that I can do is get up there and go to work and do my part to keep this thing going. I almost feel like I'm on the Titanic and I'm one of the people trying to keep the lights on. Well, it's sinking. You know what I mean? I'm willing to do that, though.
See, I work in
But
defense.
one of the biggest problems right now is politics. It's in everything.
And yeah,
Where you work, and you got to watch what you say. You can't just, just be willy-nilly about who you are.
Okay. Let me
And
tell you the most egregious thing ever.
That depends, PDX. I know there are places exactly like what you're talking about.
I know.
For me, I'm not the only conservative. I'm not the only
Cheshire.
conservative.
Dude, can I get some words in, please?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, you may, Dangerous.
Okay, I mean it's my channel, but it's like I haven't.
Yeah, I
know. All right, so PDX, you are right. There is a lot more politics, and that is where the real divide is coming, because I never gave two shits about politics until it's like now they're involved in everything I do. I mean, I have to have certificates just to go to work. I have to have a driver's license. I have to basically register my guns. Granted, it's not called a registry, but they run my name and oh, he's buying this. Can you get it? And oh yeah, I'll give it to him. But any gun you buy through like an FFL, anything, they're keeping a registry. And Detroit, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
So they've been, the politics part of it has been in our lives for a damn long time, and for most of us, probably all our life. It's just gotten a whole lot worse recently, and there's a lot of people waking up to it.
Well, okay, I work for the federal government. I work in defense.
Good for you. Yeah, I hope you get offended. I know. What are you doing on my channel?
Because there's a lot of patriots who do that kind of work. I mean, we believe in this country enough to defend it, and even though I'm no longer a war fighter, I still support the war fighter.
Yeah,
from the back lines. But what's interesting is you're talking about how politics have invaded work.
Sparky, if it came down to it, you would put your plate carrier back on. I guarantee it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, now if they told me, "Hey, you got to go over to some foreign land to do it," nah, fuck off. I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I stopped fighting for the.
Everybody in the chat, I got to get ready to get out of here. But
gonna take off?
Oh, shucks.
I am gonna take off in a couple minutes, but I was hoping to hear possibly an answer or an opinion about a question I had. Dangerous Freedom, I know you bought plate armor. I own plate armor. All my plate armor is U.S. military issued. All my ceramic plates are green. All my soft armor and stuff is what was issued when you bought it in the package on your way to Iraq or Afghanistan. And I don't know, maybe Sparky is the best one to answer this question. Is that all I need? Do I need to waste my money with all this super high fashion shit like Dangerous Freedom's buy-in and everybody?
No, I didn't buy anything super fancy. I just got Spartan Arms AR-500.
Well, I'm saying more fancy than what I got. I'm just wondering, like, first off, I'm never going to wear it because it weighs too much. But if I did ever have to wear it sitting in a chair shooting my AR-15, is it good enough, or is $500 going to make me twice as safe?
I think, the ceramic, they're good for a few shots, from what I understand.
One shot.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Ceramic's only good.
Ceramic's only good for one shot, but it actually stops. It can stop 7.62 without a problem, where steel won't stop it. Steel will just slow it down, which saves your life, because what ultimately kills you is the tissue damage from the impact. But in combat, I only wore my front plate. I never wore my back plate.
Hey, great.
I only wore that and a helmet because with everything else that I carried, I would have weighed well over 300 pounds.
Yeah.
And would be very hard to carry. And well, in 125-degree weather, fucking plate carriers. And honestly, I'll tell you this: unless you're out running in your plate carriers, unless you're wearing it every day, acclimating to it, there's no use in wearing it because all it's going to do is wear you out carrying that extra weight, and you're going to be more susceptible to heat injury and stuff like that. And I don't know what your plans are if things do kick off. The equipment I have, the equipment that I possess it, and that's about as far as anyone needs to know.
Well, optimally, Sparky, what I would do is I would
do not put that out there. Do not put that out there.
Oh,
okay. If you want to talk offline about that, that's fine.
Okay.
But live broadcasting via internet, not the best idea. Just my opinion. OPSEC.
Gotcha.
But when it comes down to actually wearing your plate carriers and stuff, if you're not wearing them at least once a week, walking around in them, getting acclimated to the weight, it'll do you no good because it's going to be so miserably uncomfortable that you won't wear it for long. It's really all about positioning. Traditional plate carriers cover your front and your back, your vital organs. Nothing from the side. I don't know what models you have. Will it do any good? Yes and no. Sometimes I've had many people who have received gunshots while wearing their armor, and they have said they would rather have died.
Really?
Well, yeah, because I mean, if you get hit, with a big enough caliber, it's going to break your bones. It's going to cause internal bleeding. It doesn't matter. The bullet is not what kills you normally.
No, it's the room. Damn it! I know what they call them. You got two cavities. You got the permanent cavity and the temporary cavity.
Yes.
The temporary cavity is what usually kills you.
But with your plates, even with those shot in the center, dead center, if you are wearing, let's say you have a catastrophic failure because, hey, they don't test these things after they make them. They test the prototypes, and they'll test like 1 out of every 1,000 that they make.
Yeah.
Just to make sure the quality is up.
Or 100.
Yeah. Whatever their standards are. You can have a catastrophic failure. It can cause a heart attack being hit. There's all kinds of things. So take it with a grain of salt.
I could get the corona today and be dead by next Thursday?
Something like that. The overall message is don't get shot.
Well,
most people have a pretty healthy immune system.
Look, the moral of the story is if you're not wearing it, if you're not actually physically training to move around in it, it'll do you no good because you won't be wearing it, and you're going to get shot and you're going to die anyway. Honestly, I'm not kicking indoors anymore. I ain't wearing a shit if I ain't got to. I do still do stuff around my house in some gear here and there just to get used to the weight again. Make sure that I can still carry it.
Tennessee Patriot. I watch Mr. Guns and Gear too. Yeah, he does do a lot of testing, and he's got a good channel going.
Okay, Johnny says I coughed. Am I okay? Yeah, I'm okay. I'm a smoker. I'm a dirty, filthy smoker, and I kind of have a cough. Sorry about that.
Good night, everybody. I greatly appreciate everybody's interaction and Dangerous Freedom. Maybe next week we can do it again.
Absolutely, brother.
All right, I'll be here and I'll see everybody soon.
All right, come back in the chat, or you've got the link. So
take care, brother.
Back on.
Yep, take care. It was good to talk.
Thank you, everybody. It was. Thank you, everybody.
Stay safe.
Yeah, it's the plate carrier thing. And I know, Freedom, you were talking about how you bought yourself some plates and stuff, and I get it, dude. There's nothing wrong with it.
No, but see, the thing is I do, once I get them, I am gonna train with them because I mean, I train with all my gear, so it's just I never thought I'd need armor before this, but with everything going on, it's just like, man, I if I hear shots down the street, I want to have rigs ready to go.
Well, I think a lot of people, when they put on plate armor, they think that they're safe.
No.
And I go, I only wore the front, and the joke was because I'm never going to get shot in the back. Well, that's not true. I mean,
look at the cops; they shoot people in the back all the time.
Well, no, it isn't. It isn't even about that. I mean, as a soldier, the joke was I don't wear my back armor because I trust the guy to my left and my right, and they're not going to shoot me in the back. But chances are, majority of people who got shot in firefights were shot by friendly fire, not intentionally.
Yeah.
But
Johnny Boy, actually, I ordered Spartan armor. That's what I got incoming.
So I tell people, look, if it'll make you feel better, wear it. Make sure you're trained up for it. But honestly, I'll wear some, but I won't wear it all. Just because I realize that, man, I know what it does. I know the effects it has on you. And, hell, I'll wear my helmet. I'll wear my front plate. Might wear my back plate. Don't bet on it. That's just me. Because when you're carrying 240 rounds of AR ammo, plus your weapon, plus your sidearm with 60 rounds of that's full combat loadout.
Yeah,
and that's still not enough ammo.
No, but it's a good start.
Well, that's designed for you to be able to, if engaged, to get separation.
To retreat, yep.
Because the objective is never a sustained firefight.
That's right. We don't retreat. We only fall back.
Yeah. We regroup in hell.
Cheshire?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
No, I'm here. I'm listening to you guys, and doing my thing.
Oh, sharpening your nails.
No, I'm crocheting a shawl.
Oh.
The reality of me is a lot less scary than my online persona. Trust me.
As she's sitting there she's making a sweater for me now as we speak. Just to let you know, my left arm is just a little longer than the right.
I don't think I have enough yarn to make you a sweater.
Oh, that's a fat joke. I appreciate it.
No, I'm serious. I don't have enough yarn. Do you know how much yarn it takes to make a sweater? Especially a camel sweater?
Hey, Mark.
But now that you mention
it. Side plates. Johnny Boy asks, what's my view on side plates? Why? I mean, if I would wear my back plate, why would I wear side plates? And what I think is even dumber are the people who would wear the shoulder pads. Those pogues. I mean, come on, dude. If you want to walk around like Iron Man, build you a fucking Iron Man suit. There's my ideal side plates.
Does that slow you down?
Bro, do you know how heavy those plates are? I mean, with my helmet,
I was just being sarcastic.
My helmets and plates alone added 60 pounds to me.
Yeah, it sounds about right. Because I'm figuring the plates that I ordered are probably about 16 by 10. And I mean, I've already got steel, AR-500 steel that I use for targets. So I've got a pretty good idea how heavy these.
Yeah, it's
balanced. And wow, what we glitched. Did you catch that?
You're having connection issues, brother.
You're frozen there, dude. Dangerous.
I am?
Oh, yeah, it's on your end.
No. There, you went away now.
But yeah, as far as armor goes, man, wear what makes you feel comfortable, and you're still able to function in.
There you
That's
are.
There he
really
is.
the best answer.
Welcome back.
Yeah.
When it comes to personal armor, whatever you think is enough is enough.
Yeah.
That's your decision. That's not my decision. I'll tell you what I experienced, but I would never tell a soldier to wear less. And I would tell them to wear as much as they felt comfortable with.
Yeah, comfort is a big key, because if you're not comfortable with what you got or what you're doing, then how the heck are you going to be able to maneuver, do all these sorts of things to defend either your life or whoever's life that you're trying to defend? How can that be reliable?
Well, one drill that we had to do, 3-second burst. I'm up, he sees me, I'm down. So I'm up, you get up and you start running. He sees me, you start diving. I'm down. And then
Yeah.
you're low crawling. Then I'm up, he sees me, I'm down.
Yeah.
Whatever you could do that in, if you could do that for 200 meters, that's what you need to wear. 200 meters is the goal.
Whatever
you're not running
works.
far in it. When I was in, I would run with both plates in 5 miles.
Yeah, whatever gets the objective done.
Hey,
So it's yes, sir.
I was going to ask you, are you still working, brother?
Yes.
You are still working. Good.
Yes.
What
pardon?
What about you, PDX? You're still working?
Yeah, I'm still working. I'm doing DoorDash, doing food deliveries. So
Yeah.
you can make a good chunk, and plus that money does not get taxed, so the government doesn't take it.
Nice.
Yeah,
So the hell with the government.
Oh, I guarantee you'll get a 1099 at the end of the year.
Screw the government.
You'll get a 1099.
If there's a government.
Right? That's a good point. We don't know what we're gonna have.
Well, I think I think one of the next viable steps would be a tax rebellion.
That actually is not that actually is not a bad idea.
It's a really good idea.
Well, it's just okay. So you've got all these people that are out of work, and then you got some that psycho woman up in Michigan. You know what I mean? She's still earning a paycheck. Wouldn't it be nice to be able to just be like, you know what? Okay, as long as we're not getting paid, you're not going to get paid.
Exactly.
It's our money.
Rules for thee, but not for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
So I went through the stimulus bill.
Right on.
And with what they were talking about sending every person in America, including illegals, $1,200 per person. And that's to include illegal.
I'm still waiting for my first stimulus check. They're gonna send me another one? Ha!
Have you filed already?
No, not yet. Everything was shut down in my area, but they extended the tax returns to
That's
July.
why you haven't gotten it yet. You have to file your taxes. That's what they're waiting on.
I see.
Johnny Boy says I couldn't run 100 yards with my gear. I did 5 minutes and I'm 94. I guess I should start trying again. And honestly, I'm in the same boat there, Johnny. I couldn't run 5 miles today. You see all this fatness. I'm a broken soldier. I'm a disabled vet. So I'd have to work up to be able to do it again. But when I was in my prime, it was no big deal. But yeah, the idea of a tax rebellion is actually a good idea. But as I was going through that bill, I figured that 330 million people.
Oh.
Now, remember, we're talking $3 trillion.
Yep.
at $1,200 per person.
Yeah.
396 billion. That is barely 10% of that entire fucking bill. Why?
Yeah, that's the question. Where is the rest of the money going?
Well, the rest of the money, a good portion of it is slated for the states. And then you have other things like you have these weird things like $1 million grants going to academia for studying COVID-19
You have a good night,
disinformation.
California critic.
Good night, California critic. You also have things like $75 million going to domestic abuse centers.
Wait, domestic abuse centers. So shelters for women that men who dress as women can now go to?
No. Not shelters. Like domestic abuse, like coping places, not like shelters. Okay, these are all leftist projects.
Yes.
And they're nickel and diming the taxpayer, and they're using COVID-19 as they're
using COVID-19 to literally loot us, is what they're doing.
Yes, it totally is. And so that's why Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell both said it's DOA when it hits the Senate.
They weren't able to, because, by the way, the whole idea behind the Green New Deal was to, number one, destroy our economy and then loot us at the same time. They're basically using COVID-19 in the place of the Green New Deal.
But there's still Green New Deal initiatives in this bill.
Correct. Yeah. That's why. They're just
1,815 pages of pure shit. Look, honestly, I believe omnibus bills need to be completely eviscerated legally, with the exception of the U.S. budget. I think that we need to start pushing for a clean bill amendment in the Constitution. Hey,
and it shouldn't be 1,000 fucking pages.
Exactly, and that's why a clean bill amendment would actually save that, because the majority of time, what is causing all these extremely large bills is pork. Like, hey, we're going to pass this law to where only green people can get a certain tax break. And I'm talking about skin color green, not actual like environmentally green.
Yeah.
And
skin color. What?
Yeah,
no, I get
people.
I get what you're saying, Sparky.
So they'll make this, and then to get it to pass, they'll say, "Hey, up there in Oregon, we're gonna give you $2 million. What for? So you can research Sasquatch." And it's bullshit like that they add on and on and on and on, and it's called pork. And you know what? I'm sorry, but America needs to be on a kosher diet when it comes to our laws.
And they call us conspiracy theorists.
Man, have you seen how much we give to foreign countries?
Oh,
good Lord! Oh,
yeah, we're literally being looted by the world, and what's crazy is that they keep bitching about it, like we're not giving them enough.
And Johnny boy, thank you for your service too. But you know what? Man, I did it just to get out of the house. I don't know about you, but I had a wife at the time, and she was a lot of fun when I came back from deployments. But man, it really sucked being around her otherwise. That's what happens when you marry a woman based on her skill in bed alone. Well, I guess she could cook well too, but hey, yet again, just another skill.
You know what, Johnny boy, I like what you said there earlier. Just give every American 10 grand, and we'll do the best choice with our money. Yep, that's I like that idea.
I actually think that what we need to do right now is we need to
make
all paychecks tax exempt for the next 6 months. We need to starve out the government.
Pretty much. That I think it's probably going to be one of the most viable methods, is basically cutting them off of our money. And
Donald Trump actually suggested that.
Really?
He actually called to end paycheck taxation for a specific amount of time to help keep the economy going.
Right. Yep. And well, then here's the deal: is we actually pay these people, and if they're not doing the job that we literally hired them to do, and I'm talking about our politicians, why are we paying them?
Riddle me this: why is the House of Representatives doing
Budget.
remote voting?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, we pay them around $175,000 each to go to work.
I
And we
think
pay
maybe
that.
you know what would be great if we cut them down to minimum wage, because that's about all they're worth.
No, because see, then that would definitely get the minimum wage raised up to $15, which would be catastrophic for the American economy.
Oh, I got an even better idea. We should make these clowns have day jobs and then serve the government on their own time. You know,
Well,
it's called you got to just be passionate.
well, see,
Yeah,
here's
no
the
doubt.
deal.
Wasn't that the shit they tell us?
It's actually classified. Being a representative and a senator is classified as a part-time job, yet we pay them $175,000.
Yeah, they're definitely not worth that.
Well,
You know
some
what? Some are. Some are.
yeah, like I've got my representative is Andy Biggs, and I mean he's anti-abortion, pro-gun, definitely a conservative. Actually, he's like the CEO of, or the chairman for the Freedom Caucus. So I mean, yeah, I'm proud of him. He's definitely got my vote this November, but we don't have many people like him, though. That's the only problem. I mean, that's really the big problem. We don't have enough patriot or even conservative, true conservative officials, you know, that are representing us.
What was his name again?
Andy Biggs.
Oh, he's a House of Representatives guy. Okay.
Yeah, he's my local congressman.
Well, the more people that will wake up, the more that will be able to. We'll have a selection from that will represent us in a good way.
Yeah, Eric's got a good point here.
Because if you get
Living wage.
the evil to expose itself fully, then you will be able to see their moves. And right now, they're living secretly, although they're on certain things they don't mind being upfront about it or whatever, because they're virtue signaling. But yeah, more people that wake up, the better off we'll be.
Eric Schnault, I do use my body, my choice when it comes to my right to not take the new poisonous vaccination they're probably going to push on us.
Oh man, they better not, because I'll tell you what.
I'm not taking it, so I don't give a fuck what they do.
If they come at me with a shot, I'm going to give them a shot.
So
Just saying.
Yeah, I did see one of the I seen a big old like Army Corps of Engineers truck in my town.
Johnny boy, yeah, exactly.
There's like a big old truck. I'm not sure what it was doing, but I should have probably like, scouted it out.
Hey, Johnny boy, my brother, sorry, here in the chat, Jericho is actually pretty close to us too, so we'll have to get like a three-way going. You got my email, right, Johnny boy? And then yeah, we can hook up that way. I'm trying to get my mag group started.
By the way, Andy Biggs voted no on the stimulus package, the Heroes bill. The Heroes Act.
Hell yeah, he did. I told you he's a good damn.
Well, I mean, I'm just going through and looking like the entire state of Oklahoma, including my representative, Kendra Horn, Democrat from the Fighting Fifth. She voted nay. But she still isn't going to retain her seat because fuck her.
Do me a favor. Go through, find Kristen Cinema. See how she voted on that.
What state is she from?
Arizona.
Kirsten Cinema.
Not getting a vaccine.
Oh, no, she might be a senator. Oh, I think.
Yeah, she's a senator.
Yeah, we've got her, and then we've got Martha McSally. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Let's see who voted yay, who voted yes was every Democrat in Arizona except for Ann Kirkpatrick. She voted no vote.
Oh, she probably just didn't go in.
They could vote. They could vote remotely, so it didn't matter.
You know,
Amen.
one thing about this whole coronavirus thing, so they're saying it doesn't affect young people as much. Why the hell does everyone have to be mandatory vaccinated then?
Because it is not about the virus.
And I know everyone knows that.
It's about control over you.
Yeah, it's about the government extending its control
They're trying.
and tyranny.
But the thing is, you got to keep this in mind, PDX. That we have so many guns here. They would be foolish to even try. They would be foolish.
I'm not denying the 3%ers potential, but are they willing to actually step up?
Oh,
No,
well, yeah, that's everybody's question.
You know, honestly, and that's what's really going on right now is people are not willing to take that bold step out into the front. Look, those protesters in Michigan who was there with their big scary rifles got punked by a 120-pound woman who wants to be their mommy. I mean, that's what happened. Let's call it like it is. They were up there to show, you know, a show of force, and she called their bluff and they balked.
So I talked to a leader of the group of 3%ers, and they said that there's a bunch of fake 3%ers and that there are a lot of hysteria within their group. And it's really hard to know, like, you know, what's what with all this confusion because everyone wants to.
Okay, Brad Young says, "What's a 3%er?"
I got this one.
Okay,
I got
good.
this right here. During the American Revolution, active colonists in the field against the king's tyranny never amounted to more than 3%. They were the true patriots. 3%ers today intend to maintain their God-given rights to liberty and property. Never underestimate the power of a small group of citizens to change the world. Now, see, I'm a prepper and I'm a patriot. So, I mean, I am a dude. My logo is the 3%. I wear 3% all the time. Here, I'll show you right now. I'll put my camera on. Oh, it won't let me. Oh, there we go. Dude, my 3% is all over me. But the whole thing about being a 3% is you have to be ready. We are the militia. I'm Sparky. You know what I'm talking about. Cheshire. I'm sure you've heard this. And PDX. I don't know if you had, but if you're an able-bodied American, you are part of the militia. But it's
so there's a vetting process, but there's also these other groups that are trying to claim that they're 3%ers and they're not. There's this guy that I know, and he's like trying to claim that he's one of the zone leaders. He's not.
Well, okay, look,
when I talked
PDX,
to the leader, they had no idea who he even was.
so okay.
PDX, you even see that in the veteran community. Okay, I'm not a 3%er. I'm not a 3%er in the least bit.
You would be an oath keeper.
I'm an oath keeper because I've already taken that oath. I've given that blank check, and my oath has no expiration. But I don't say that for kudos or anything. It's just that's what I believe. I wear a pirate's flag. I wear a pirate flag because fuck it. I'm a goddamn pirate in the end of the day. I am going to steal and rape my way to the top because that is who I am. But
it's immoral.
What's immoral? Look, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I'm just. I mean, look, I've been to war. You can moral fag me all you want.
Yeah,
and say, that's immoral. I'll tell you what works. So, yeah, exactly, Jericho. When shit goes down, we'll see who the true 3%ers are. Look, You see this all the time in the veteran community. We call them stolen valor. They're frauds, man. And a lot of times they say this shit to kind of get kudos. Hey, look at me. They're attention bags is all they are.
Graceful, man.
Well,
like,
I mean,
I've seen so many videos of that crap, dude.
Well, the people who went up to Michigan, who stood up on the stairs of the Capitol with their long guns and posed and everything, those were posers.
Wait, the ones that went to Michigan on the Capitol with their firearms?
Yeah. Demanded to be let in. And then the governor said, because when the governor said, oh, I don't give a damn what the legislature says, I'm extending a lockdown and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it, they stood there with their big fucking scary guns and didn't do anything. They're fucking posers. They were there for a photo op.
Sparky?
I would have pulled that bitch out and made her force her to sign her
they did
resignation.
what they could have done, just like as if you were to just call your representative.
No, they were there. They were there to show, for a show of force. They were there to pose with their guns, acting like they were physically threatening the governor, and the governor called their shit, and they did nothing.
I think they were just exercising their Second Amendment right.
You don't do that at a protest unless you're willing to actually engage. That's why I say don't do it unless you've got the balls to do something about it. They would have done better to show up with a drum and fife band and marched in a line with muskets than to bring their AR-15s.
Have you not seen what the police are doing?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Trust me, we all see.
The deal is, they went up there to intimidate, and they didn't do anything. They got punked by a 120-pound woman.
There's nothing wrong with being 120 pounds.
No, there isn't. Not at all.
I didn't see the video of it. I guess I gotta watch it.
But they got punked. Okay? They got bent over and ass raped in front of the world because they were there with their big scary guns. They were there to give a message. Okay. Oh, we're willing to do this. And she went, fuck you. And they didn't do anything. That is a shit to get off the pot moment, and they got off the pot.
What would you have done?
If I would be dumb enough to go up there to a protest with long rifles, I would be there to show an intimidating force, and I would not balk. And they're like, oh, well, I'm going to extend this anyway. I don't care what the legislator says and all this other stuff. I would have pulled her out by her fucking weave, and I would have made her sign her fucking resignation there. Or I would get shot and arrested trying. Okay? If you're going to show force, you bring force.
Yep.
Okay? If you're gonna sit there and just go for show, well, then you're going to get punked.
Well, I mean,
and then I'm going to talk shit about you online.
We saw something similar in Texas. Remember when the bar opened and they had the 6 militia out there with their rifles, just walking around the outside, just kind of acting as security. And the sheriffs pulled up with a damn armored vehicle. You know what I mean? And they gave up. Now, see, if it would have been 100 of them, I think we would have seen a different outcome.
At least they tried. That's all I gotta say.
There's not a participation trophy in life. I no.
If you're not trying, then you're not doing.
No, if you're not cheating, you're not trying. Okay, no.
Hey, that's the world we live in now.
Look, here's the reality. There is no participation trophy, so trying does not work. There is only do or do not. There is no try.
Okay, Yoda.
That was what Yoda said, yeah.
Yoda Sparky.
Yeah. Look, and I'm not calling for open rebellion. I'm actually calling for the complete opposite. I'm just telling you, if you're going to sit there and show up in all your tactical gear and you're doing it just to look cool, you're going to get made a fool unless you're committed.
What is the opposite of open rebellion? Tyranny?
No.
Oh, wow. That's a good point.
There is subversive actions. There is such things as trying to work the system, because you don't go into open rebellion until Every other option has been expended.
Amen.
Unless
Jared.
you've actually been in the combat, don't say you're willing to go into it. Yeah,
Well, that's one of the funny things.
exactly,
okay,
Jericho.
Because combat just happens.
Well, and I kind of agree with Sparky's. I would have done it. I wouldn't dragged her out by her weave and pulled her out. But it would be really easy for a lot of these guys with guns to even start citizen arresting the police that are going against the Constitution, and then go up and citizen arrest her.
Yeah.
And literally take over the. I would take over the police station and.
If they would have actually done something other than just stand there for a photo op, then maybe I would go.
It would have been funny. But I don't know. We'll see what happens if she keeps on.
Yeah, and you know, Eric, sic semper tyrannis. Yeah, I love that saying, but you know what? The reality is, the majority of people who even know what that means don't possess the fortitude to back it up. And honestly, I'm not telling people to do it yet because I don't think we've reached that level. Because I think there's still other ways to do this. That's why I call my congressmen and my senators.
I don't think we should focus on just bashing people, though. I think we should focus on, we made a mistake here. Then
no, when you do something stupid, you get bashed. No, there is no. Oh well, you tried thing. No, you want that? Go to their mother. That's their mother's job, not my job. My job is to fucking openly mock them and shame them for not having the fucking guts and the nuts to stand up for what they believe in.
They are.
No, they're not. They're standing there with guns for a fucking photo op. That's all they did. They stood there with their guns and they're like, "Look at us, we're big and intimidating." And they fucking photoshopped all that shit out and put dildos in there. That's how scared people are of them. Okay, they are a fucking joke. Nah. If you're going to show up, be ready. If you're going to put out the message, understand you got to be willing to back it up.
I have to agree with you on that, Sparky. They if they're in a show up like that, they should have been ready to go all in.
Yeah, you don't go balls out. You don't act like you're going to go all balls out, and when it comes time to fuck, oh well, here I'm going to wear this cod piece. No, that's not how.
So what exactly happened with that thing? There was like a big lady or whatever, and she came out and did what?
They were there protesting the lockdown.
You and me both, Eric. I'd love to see this shit over with.
The state legislation said, "No, Governor, you cannot extend the lockdown." And these people came up to support the legislature. And she said, "Fuck you, I'll do what I want." And these people pushed into the Capitol, acting like they were going to do something, and stood there for photo ops. That's what they did.
I guess I'm going to have to agree with you a little bit there.
Well, I mean, no, it's not even about you agreeing. Because honestly, I'd rather you read and see what they did and you come to your own decision. Because honestly, I'm advocating for those people should have done more.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
But I want you need to read up on it yourself. Okay, don't just take my word for it. Develop your own opinion.
Robin G makes a good point in the chat there, Sparky. Sometimes you have to pick a place to start, and showing up is a good first start.
Yeah, and that is a point. You do have to pick your battles.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the deal is,
I don't think it's easy to go into like the Capitol.
Yeah, I think
where they try and keep everything nice and clean, and
isn't that bitch trying to now ban the weapons in the Capitol building?
Yeah. In an open carry state, yeah. See, here's the deal. You're right. You're right, Robin. You do need to pick your battles, but they did. They picked their battle. They showed up in full battle rattle, acting like they were going to do something. The battle was picked. They chose. Now, some would say they chose poorly. Okay. Well, honestly, I would have said that would have been one of the best places to do it if they fucking did something.
Who's to say
they probably would have lost. I'm not going to pretend like it would have been fruitful.
No, they're
But you
probably,
know what? Remember the Alamo. There's a reason why that phrase exists in American colloquial.
Maybe
Okay?
maybe we need to test them just the way they're testing us, and that's what they were doing. They were just seeing if something would shake loose.
yeah, seeing how far they can push us. That's this whole COVID thing is about seeing how far they can push us.
That is the government showing how far they could push us. Those people showed up in guns to send a message, and
But
the
they hide
message
behind a
was
badge
laughed at.
They hide
they did
behind
nothing.
all these things.
That's messed up.
So
So messed up.
that's my interpretation of it. You know, if anyone on the panel disagrees, cool. You know, I would tell anyone who does not know this story, please read it. Develop your own opinion on it. Push back on me on it. I'm okay with that. You know, I would rather have someone go, no, I don't think you're right, than just blindly agree with me. I would, you know, because everyone has their own point of view. But as someone who used to run and gun, I will tell you, I didn't show up in my game day outfit without the conviction to play the game if I had to.
Yeah, but is showing up better than not showing up?
No, because if you're not willing to play the game, don't bother.
Yeah.
I mean, real talk. Look, if you're not gonna nut up,
Then
but you
shut up.
still want to show, but you still want to show up, then you better pick a better message than look at my big scary black rifle. Like I said, they could have sent the exact same message with a drum and fife group.
Yep.
And muskets.
Amen.
They gotta actually like really think for themselves, like their beliefs and how much that actually means. If it's worth going into war for, because that's what this is, and they don't see it that way, I guess.
Well, it's people don't think about the realities of what they're doing. Okay, it's freedom. Freedom loves talking about his guns. I love guns. I love the Second Amendment. I love the First Amendment. I love all those damn amendments, except for the 19th. I'm a little sketchy on it.
I haven't read all.
No, that's a joke.
I
That's a
only
joke.
know like the first 4.
The 19th is the women's right to vote. Is all that is. I'm just taking a jab.
We love you, Marco.
Nah, it's all good.
No, I'm actually good with the 19th. The only thing that I think that needs to be in there is I believe that for people to vote, they should be landowners or eligible for the draft. Or registered for the draft,
or at least working and earning a living. I mean,
you got to have some stake in the game.
I'm on the same page, but I'm like anybody on welfare that's been on welfare like pretty much all their life. I don't think they deserve a vote.
Yeah,
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, and that's just my views.
Folks that work and put in and contribute to society, yeah, we all deserve a vote. And they used to call them landowners back then. It's kind of changed. I mean, the
only thing that could end up getting into some dicey territory is you would have women who are stay-at-home moms. And by the way, I think there's one thing that the women's rights movement does not cover is a woman's right to stay home with her kids. It's almost impossible to do now. But basically what it would be doing is it would be removing a stay-at-home mother's right to vote because she's technically not working.
No, see, actually, I said or registered for the draft. I believe that women should be registered for the draft. Maybe not in a combat MOS deal, but women play a vital role in the United States military today as support personnel.
And in World War II, we had more women working here in the U.S. to help our troops. Yeah.
So, but I think that in order for you to be able to vote, I think that you should have to be contribute through registered, a landowner, a taxpayer, someone registered for the draft. That doesn't mean you've got to serve. Right. That doesn't even mean you're eligible to serve. It means you're registered for the draft. And
I mean,
stay-at-home mothers can do that. Yeah, well, just in case. Hey, if the country needs you.
Didn't they do away with that now? Or
they did, and part of that.
I remember when I was in high school and I turned 18, I had to fill it out.
Well, no, you still have to as a male. as a
But
U.S.
why?
citizen
Why
male.
did they do away with it?
No,
To
the draft
usher in
still exists.
the new world order,
The draft
right?
still exists. They just haven't utilized it since Vietnam.
We haven't had to. We've got the technology and the just sheer
Well,
utter
and I definitely
fucking
agree with
awe.
you know, women should be able to be drafted, but there is a loophole that women would use to avoid it.
All right, Jericho. I'll
Get-
catch you
Get
soon,
pregnant.
brother.
They can't draft you if you're pregnant.
Well, yeah,
Matter of fact, I've known women who've enlisted in the military who've avoided deployment by just getting pregnant.
oh yeah, yeah.
Happen
I've
all the
seen tons
time.
of them do it. And you know what? Hey,
Anyway,
I really don't have a problem with that. I mean,
We gotta count on each other, and we gotta count on people stepping up to the plate for this country, because you know people really need to, like, they take so much for granted. Like they don't see how things came to be at all.
Because many of us have been
There's like,
born-
oh, this is just never gonna go away. I'm just gonna live. Things will just take care of itself.
Well, that's because we've literally been born into a country and in an era where everything has been plenty. Everything's been pretty peaceful, and so these people can't imagine anything. They're literally just naive to it. They can't imagine it. They also
Yeah.
can't imagine that their representatives would purposefully, you know, sell them down the river for their own gain. There's literally people who cannot fathom that.
It's because they don't know history. They don't know, you know, like what our wars we've been through and why communism and socialism is bad.
They're not exactly teaching it now in Common Core history. I call it Common Core. They've stripped our education system down to fucking nothing. And a lot of these people aren't going to go and look for it on their own. They don't care.
All I care about is partying.
Yeah, they're too busy in school drinking and fucking. That's all they care about.
hey, that's all I did in school. Don't judge.
man, I smoked a little pot in there.
You gotta at least have some sense of, like, you know, like rationality, though.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
it's
the kids don't. But on top of that, if you really want to take a look at things, how have things changed to the point, and it's almost as though the policies changed to purposefully keep kids in a more infantile state for longer. Haven't you noticed that?
well, it's been heading that direction for a very long time.
Yeah, so you got very people that are very psychologically very infantile when they're in their mid-20s to early 30s. They're still
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I went through college. I graduated from college when I was 40, so you can imagine my reaction to the
young kids.
the little juniors and stuff, and I would make fun of them as they would. There was one lady. She was a Native American activist, and she was known for, if you were walking through one of the quads, she was known for yelling at Caucasians about how you're raping their women and killing them and blah blah blah.
Someone needs to take their medicine, man.
And my response to her was, "Would you accept a blanket to make it all better?" And she goes,
So dark.
she says, "That's white supremacy." And I said, "Don't worry, I have the smallpox vaccine injected in me, so I'll just give you one of my blankets from when I had smallpox." And she's like, "You're trying to kill us off." I'm like, "No, I'm not trying to kill you off, but if you'd like me to, I'll play." And I'm like, if you're going to be accused for it, I might as well get the joy of doing it.
Hey, Effie.
Is that something that some of these people don't understand? It's kind of like, that's white supremacy, and it's like, I don't. Is that what you want? Because
that's how you get white supremacy.
Yeah, it's going to get to the point where if you're going to be accused of it and persecuted for it either way, you might as well do it.
Yeah.
The major problem in our society is these people these kids that have all this authority and have all these opinions and whatever, but our society has failed them because they're uneducated. Their parents don't try and educate or anything like that, and the school systems don't obviously do nothing but
Well, their parents don't give a
Manipulate.
shit.
No, I'll push back. They are educated. I mean, honestly, the children today are some of the most highly educated people that we've seen throughout history. The only problem is they're more indoctrinated.
Than
Not my
educated.
kids. Not my.
I mean,
They have no.
Would you call that?
purpose
Would you
at
call
all.
that education? I wouldn't call that education.
no, I do call it an education. It may not be the right education, but it is an education.
My oldest son is in HVAC. And then my youngest, I mean, he's already helped me do the brakes and I mean, they're not afraid to get their hands dirty.
But you're not a helicopter parent. You're not someone who just drops kids off and then hovers over them, make sure they're not hurt. No, you're actually an engaged parent talking to your children. Most parents aren't.
I take them to the range and everything. They're actually my oldest son is almost a better shot than I am. Depends on the day.
When I was teaching,
But the indoctrination is trying to strip that away. They're trying to strip the family values. They're trying to get within the family system with
there's no family values to strip away. The majority of people who are highly indoctrinated are actually people whose parents have used the school system as their personal babysitters.
Yeah,
they don't give a shit. So really,
with the COVID-19 and people having to stay home and home, have you seen all of the complaints on Facebook about people? I got to stay home and educate my kids. I'm going crazy. These people didn't want parents.
Dangerous Freedom has the right idea.
he look. Many things Freedom does, I completely agree with. There's very few things that me and him disagree on.
Now we've been friends a long time.
He's a great guy, and I can't wait to drink some sweet whiskey with him. I would say rum, but no, he's not a rum guy. He's definitely a whiskey guy.
I do.
I like.
You'll drink rum.
I don't do shots anymore. I'll tell you that. I mean, you throw a little Crown or Coke and Crown or Coke.
I'm the same way, dude. I don't drink.
I'll throw a little bit of Sprite on top of vodka and drink it.
I can't drink vodka.
I used to drink liquor straight up.
Here's my story. When I was a kid, I started drinking. I'll be honest with you. I started drinking when I was about 15. I started with a little bit of beer. I drank like maybe a 6-pack here and there. But when I started drinking that Southern Comfort, and then that was like sweet nectar to me. Until
SoCo is so nice.
I drank a fifth of it. And
that'll be a bad day.
And when I woke up, I was surrounded by puke, and I was like, I am absolutely never doing this again.
Yeah, that's why I don't drink vodka anymore, because my first real girlfriend, when we broke up, I went and got a bum to buy me a liter of Smirnoff vodka, and I drank that fucker with Sunny D like a boss. And the next day was not pleasant, and I swore myself. I smell vodka now, and I get a little sick. But hey, I'm going to step out for a little bit.
Okay.
I have been asked to attend another stream, but look, I love everyone. I love everyone in this channel, man. You have a great community, Freedom. Love interacting with your chat and your panelists. PDX.
Hey,
man, you keep it real on the West Coast, baby.
Who you had?
Yeah, man, aircraft, dude. God bless you, sir. Thank you for your service.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna go on for. Well, I don't know. I'm gonna throw the link out there, and maybe somebody else will pop in. Who are you gonna go talk with?
Chairview.
Sure. I don't think
he's some Canadian dude. He's been begging me to come on, and he DM'd me, and he's like, hey, can you come on tonight? And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he listed a couple things, like, yeah, I could talk about that, I guess. But I'm already on a friend's stream, so I'll come in an hour late. So I I got to stay here. I got to talk to this great community. For
Oh,
those of you who don't know who I am, though, I am Aircraft Sparky. You can catch me on Wednesday nights for my live streams at 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. It's called Thursday Night Streams on Wednesday night, where we review the week's news, and I also do a couple of edited videos here and there. Look, in fact, what we talked about tonight with the erosion of the Fourth Amendment is my latest video. I thought it was pretty good.
I watch your videos sometimes. You're all up in the skies.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man. Look, it's all about that image, right?
Sparky yet, and you're a patriot, or you'll enjoy his stuff.
Yeah, and hey, give me the opportunity to earn your view, man. I appreciate it. Y'all have a good night and God bless. And if this is still on when I'm done, I'll pop back in. Talk to you later.
Always a pleasure,
All right,
Sparky.
brother. Okay. And we got my brother.
Oh,
Greg.
we got gray area.
What's up, brother?
Howdy, boys.
Ah, shit.
Great.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing decent. Just fixed something that 2 other shops couldn't fix in 4 months, and I fixed it in an hour.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Sometimes when you want to get things done, you just got to do it yourself.
Well, it's kind of funny, too, because, like, the guy brought it to me, and he's like, a buddy of mine hooked me up with your number, and, well, it looks like you're a truck mechanic, though. And I was like, oh, I work on all sorts of things. And then he's all like, all right, well, and then it's like, he's like, well, and he told me the breakdown. It's been, been in 2 shops for 4 months. They can't figure out why it don't run. And I was like, I got you. I was like, the other thing I do other than trucks is advanced diagnostics. So I called him up and he's all surprised, like, because I had the car running. And I was like, I called him up. I was like, hey, Sergio, listen to this. And I revved it up a bit. And I was all like, haven't heard that in a while, have you? So yeah, I get to enjoy my beer now.
How do I find Cheshire Cat?
Heck yeah.
Well, I'm not really quite sure if you're wanting to subscribe to my channel. I don't have any content up on my channel whatsoever. So if you subscribe to me, it's going to be futile. So
I'm still trying to put out videos. I need to like get back spiritually, and because I want to do more Sunday streams. Tomorrow I'm going to go to a church service. I'm going to record some of that. Because right now they're shutting down their churches, and we gotta reopen our churches, because that is where our foundation really lies. I mean, regardless if you're a Christian or not, you could still have Christ-like values, and it still be considered, worth something.
Mm-hmm.
True Grave.
Doing more good than doing bad.
I just dropped the link if you want to pop in the chat.
Yeah, my church is open again.
The True Grave here just said shit just got real. True Grave, for me, it got real about a month ago. Actually, I'll take that back. It was starting to get real about 3 months ago. About 2 months ago, it got more real, and it's getting more real. And I don't know. Did I tell y'all what happened at my work?
No.
Okay. So I went from we used to be working overtime, like 50 plus hours, and then about the last year we've been 40 hours. We do 410s. Well, then this COVID thing started back at the end of March. They gave us all they gave us basically 4 weeks off. They paid us for the first 3. And then the third one, I had enough hours I could use my paid time off to cover most of that week. And now we're back to work. We were back to work. I was at 24 hours a work week, 3 8-hour days. I work Tuesday through Thursday, 8 to 4:30, and I don't have any other income other than the supposed unemployment insurance that there's like over 1 million people that have already signed on just in Arizona. I don't know how they're supposed to pull this off. And now we just shut down for another 2 weeks. My sister, she's been working the whole time. she's been one of those essential employees. Yesterday, they pulled all of them into a conference room and gave them two options. Either you can take a 10% decrease in pay, or find another job. So, I mean, now the second wave, the economic collapse wave, that's what's hitting us now.
Yeah.
Just wait till the interest rates get fucked.
How do they expect to pull this off? You said it best.
They're not. It's set up.
Yeah.
They're trying to destroy the economy. They're not trying to save it.
Nope.
Yeah, they're going to blame it on Trump.
Yeah, sure enough, they'll blame
that always works.
Bad.
It's like they're trying. It's like they're these kids, and they just want to throw everything under their bed.
Right, they do want us at each other in the streets.
Yeah. It's like, oh, let's just hide the mess.
Yeah, they're not like children.
No responsibility here, you know.
They know damn well what they're doing, and they're trying to destroy the economy. That's what they're doing. It's obvious.
Yeah, and they're doing pretty damn well.
Yep.
Well, it's only because they found a way to get inside our heads to trick us with all this media. If this media has never, it's really these platforms, the media, the technology, and they're trying to like ease their way into this diversity and brainwash us to go at each other's throats. And
there's plenty of us that are awake to the fact that they don't really care about diversity. Try being one of their little pet groups and then see what happens to you when you disagree with them.
Johnny boy, that's a good one.
The way they work, though, they don't just go at it like that. Though they try and see what they could get away with a little bit, and then they try and press a little bit more and a little bit more, and then once they feel they really have you, then that's when they're gonna really hit the hammer. So they kind of like test you, and that's what they do. They try and single people out, and you know they'll use any sort of thing to come between us. Like, yeah.
What do you think the real purpose of social distancing is? And now they're trying to fuck our ability to even talk on the internet. They're trying to separate us.
Yeah. They're trying to control communication.
Correct.
They're trying to control us.
They're keeping us apart physically.
They're
keeping us apart physically so that we can't congregate and plan. And then they're trying to kill all of our remote abilities to communicate. Is what they're trying to do.
They're afraid because it's all out there now. They don't have a whole lot more moves. Because I think they're at a standstill. They don't know what to do, but they need to keep going with the tyranny.
Well, what's gone on is that the people have not realized their power. You know, a few nights ago, I had a really interesting dream. And it was funny because the night before, I was actually asking God to give me a dream to kind of tell me what was happening. And that night, I had a dream. And what I saw a python, and it was wrapped around a very large cat. And the python was squeezing this cat. But the cat was able to break loose and jump to higher ground, leaving the python on the ground, unable to reach it. And then, of course, zooming out, I saw that the cat was a lion, and the python wasn't as big as I thought it was when I first saw it. So what this dream tells me is that the lion is us. We are the lion. Not only that, we're strong and we're powerful, but we can also get up to higher ground than the snake. And the snake is not as big as we think it is, but what it's doing is it's playing with our perception to make itself look bigger than it is. And it's really not that big. You guys, we are extremely powerful and we don't know it.
I know it. I know I can count on God always.
And I
Now,
know
I want
Gray,
God has
in the
never,
chat.
never,
I want
never
everybody
steered
in
me
the
wrong.
chat to know we are more powerful than you think. We are more powerful. We are more powerful than they are. They're very small.
We need to wake people up, get our
Correct.
community. We need to get out into our communities and really do some good. Organize, get organized, and be self-aware and have
Oh.
communication.
yeah, Lone Star. Yeah, I expect a false flag coming too. It'll happen somewhere between here and November. Maybe they'll try and play this Corona thing another wave. Oh, this next wave is going to be twice as deadly. Blah blah blah, and we're going to see probably less results.
I'm not buying it. And in any event, I would rather go out there and take the risk of dying from COVID-19 than live in the fucking clown world they have planned for us.
Damn straight.
The thing is we need to fight them like they're fighting us. We need to figure out their agenda. We need to be ahead of them and be there before that
putting it
day.
out there right now. It's
Well,
almost
shit,
like
man. I'm about to hop on a charter bus in a couple of days to go up to the Capitol and fucking protest.
hell yeah.
Yeah.
They called up
Because
the boys. Let's go for a joyride.
they're trying to leave us in the dark and then like press us like we're guinea pigs.
I don't know. They're being pretty obvious about what they're doing. It's almost like a guy standing there with his dick out saying, "I'm going to rape you." They're obvious about it.
And they're laughing about it because they're like, and I'm going to get away with it.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't even.
I'm going to get your booty. And I'm going to take his booty.
Exactly.
Yeah,
They're standing there with their dicks out in a huge erection. They're telling us they're going to fuck us.
And just laughing.
Oh, yeah, okay.
They're bumping
I get
elbows
what you're
saying,
saying.
look at these clowns. They're not even
They're not even doing about it. Look at them. They're complaining and feel sorry for themselves online. That's exactly what they think of us.
We are stronger in the masses, though.
Yes,
that's
we
why
are.
we need to come. That's why we need to come together. Not necessarily to always, agree on everything, but we need to at least have some sense of, when shit hits the fan.
It's already hit the fan, son.
I know, but I'm just saying because everyone thinks differently.
But I mean, one of my buddies is always talking about we're going to see hot spots. There are going to be spots where violence will most likely break out. Now, if it's going to spread or not, we don't know yet. But we have to be prepared either way. And I mean, I've got my food, water, shelter, medicine, means of self-defense. I got plans. I got many plans in my head. Yeah. Because I mean, somebody said in the chat earlier, you've got a plan until you get punched in the face, and that and then your plan has to change immediately, and you never know when. You got to be quick-minded. You have to be prepared-minded. I think that's why I've probably always done so well at my jobs, is because I'm a thinking kind of man. I mean, if there's a problem, I fix the damn problem. I don't sit there and scratch my head, go, well, I don't know. I'll call my boss, and an hour later, maybe we'll get some kind of answer. I'm normally the kind of guy. It's like, okay, well, get me a 2x4, and we'll get a small jack, and we'll get this thing put in place. You know how
to prioritize. Yeah, priorities.
Mayhem. I'm gonna try sending it to your email. Maybe that'll help.
Because they're gonna try and use people like pawns, and that's what they're doing. They're using people as pawns to, try and mess with us to see how we turn our heads and how we, go about. I'm not trying to say that always be paranoid, but just kind of, they're really trying to mess with us.
They're out to fuck you. To me, being called paranoid is a gaslighting term. We just don't trust them. We rightfully don't trust them. So don't trust anybody who calls you paranoid. They're trying to mind fuck you.
It's not if it's warranted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
It's
even if they call you a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a
Gaslight.
huge one now.
Well, that's their biggest buzz term lately. It basically, that's how they shut down everything. They just call it a fucking conspiracy theory. Even if you got fucking hard evidence in your hand, they've gotten people so conditioned to that fucking phrase that if the fucking chuckleheads or a celebrity happens to say it, it's a conspiracy theory. They'll buy that shit over the real fucking hard evidence in your hand.
Unfortunately,
they keep saying, "Oh, we look."
And I love it how they all like to say that we're anti-fact and we're anti-science, and they're trying to push that transgender shit. Like a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man.
And
Dude, look at Bill Gates. Seriously, and Dr. Fauci.
Yeah,
their statistics is a bunch of bull crap.
Yeah, there's a lot of conflicts of interest with Dr. Fauci.
So they're trying to get us to the point where, like, what do we trust? That's where they want us. What can we trust? Can we even trust ourselves? Oh no, we need big daddy government.
The kind of shit they're trying to push on us. It's just that when they come for our rights, that's when we got to dig our heels into the ground. Or when they come and they try to force us to be vaccinated, that's where we're going to dig our heels into the ground and say, fuck no. Or lie to them.
Non-consensual.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the big one.
I don't consent to be penetrated by anything, including their needles. So,
and if they fucking try it after I say no, well then, it's going to go to the fist.
Yeah, okay. I go.
Well, figuratively speaking, a 12-gauge semi-automatic.
Okay, there we go. That's more like it. Yeah, I call
the fuck out of my house, and I'll be like, no, get the fuck out of my house.
I call him Fausti because I swear that midget has made a deal with the devil.
Oh yeah, he might as well be a Mafaucisto, you know.
Did you see the interview with Judy Mikovits?
The interview? No.
Yeah. Well, there's this doctor that used to work with Fauci, and her name is Judy Mikovits.
Wait, her name's familiar. Go on.
Yeah, Judy Mikovits. And she worked with Fauci, and they were doing the research on HIV and AIDS.
Uh-huh.
And she was doing some research on some of the vaccines, and she found out that some of the fetal tissues and animal tissues and stuff that were in the vaccines were irreparably, hurting people.
Mm-hmm.
But then also they were testing these vaccines on people in Africa, and Fauci ended up killing like a whole generation of people in Africa testing the vaccines on
them. You're definitely thinking about the same person then.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah,
somehow he thinks he's righteous.
What's that?
I said somehow Fauci thinks he's righteous.
He's not.
Well, yeah, he's self-righteous.
Yeah.
Well, when you're that small,
no reason but when he gave himself.
When you're that small and you have little dick syndrome, that's kind of what happens.
Impotency is a motherfucker.
Yeah, you said it best.
You know what? You want to know something though? I don't dog on men with impotency. That's a serious health issue.
Well, he has a figurative impotency, meaning he's not really a man. He can't man up.
He's a manlet.
Manlet, yes.
A manlet? What?
A man. It's like a small man, like a really, really small. It can be, it can actually refer to an actual lack in physical size in a man, but it can also imply. It could also
lack in his confidence of his size of character.
Correct.
Oh, so he's got like small man complex.
Yeah, like Chihuahua complex.
Yeah, I've met guys that are like my height and they got that complex because I'm only like 5'4". I mean, I'm not very tall at all, but I have a certain aura about me. I come off bigger than I am because I'm more confident, but these guys, I guess they've got it in their head because they're short. They have to I don't know, they get this weird complex. I've never had that. I've hung out with I have some of my best friends are like 6'4", and I mean, hey, whatever, you know.
Yeah, well, you know what? And I'm not a physically imposing person, so it just.
I am.
Yeah, Gray. I could almost
So
imagine
you're probably what, 6? I don't. How tall are you, Gray? You a big dude?
6'5", 225.
Wow,
Yeah,
shit.
you're a pretty big guy. Yeah.
And see, but look, we're already best friends. You know what I mean? We just have that aura about us. In Cheshire, I don't care. You could be a foot shorter than me,
I'm
and I
actually
wouldn't mess with you.
taller than you.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, I'm taller than you are.
Trust me, there's days I wish I had Vietnamese hands working on these cars, though. Wish I had the Wii hands.
The Wuhan. Oh wait,
So
no, that's
that is
China.
one thing that I have. I do have
It's all
very.
the same thing, really.
I'm tall. I'm tall, but I'm lanky, but I've got long, thin fingers, so I can do some pretty good. I can do some precision work with my hands.
I have large piano player hands, I'm told.
I got fat ones. They're short and fat.
I have violin player hands because I play the violin.
I have long
Ah,
fingers.
PDX,
I
those
raised
are almost piano hands. Do you play any instruments?
No, I do not.
I play piano.
I tried to play the electric guitar, but I didn't take any lessons. I just plucked the strings.
Lone Star.
One way to learn, though. I mean, shit, nobody taught me to play a piano.
What was that?
I am classically trained on violin.
Mhm.
I can play some pretty good
Okay.
pieces. My favorite.
Somebody did teach me to read music, though.
Well,
Not
you want to know if you said you play the piano, right, Gray?
Yeah.
Hey, Tennessee.
Can you read
Glad
piano
you
music?
can make it back, brother.
Yeah, I can read piano sheet music.
Well, piano
Yeah.
sheet music actually translates directly to violin.
Oh, cool.
So
Well,
you can
I
use
love
piano
violin.
music. Yeah, you can use piano music and play it on the violin, and the measures and everything match.
Huh. Good
Just
to know.
saying.
Well, I'll be 200 pounds when I put on that armor.
I weigh 296 when I put on my armor.
Wow, yeah. But you're 6'5". That's crazy. So are you lanky, or are you just sturdy, or what?
I'm what you call an even build. I'm built kind of like Michael Jordan.
Slender but athletic. So I would say you're
Mhm.
probably what, a mesomorph body type.
Yeah, triangle.
Yep.
I'm a god when I put on my armor. Because of the armor of God.
There you go. You know what? I'm with you on that one, PDX, because in this battle we all have to have the armor of God. But I'm gonna have to
be strong.
go along with me. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know, God told me get prepared. He told me that years back, and I've been listening, doing it. I've been doing some of the things, and
You know what's really crazy is before all this shit started popping off, I started having really weird dreams.
Yeah, same here.
Really weird dreams. I even dreamed about like different politicians and stuff, and I dreamed that they had been killing people and
I've always been very
Like which
conscious
one?
about things going on around me too.
right.
yeah.
I could
actually,
see what's his name? The New York mayor. Him losing his mind.
I'm a wolf.
You ain't wrong.
I forget what's that guy's name. Oh well, it doesn't even really matter. He's a slime
Just another
bag.
big commie slime bag.
Yeah, he's a slime bag. Scumbag.
Who is?
New York.
New York mayor and
Cuomo?
government.
No, Lone Star, no, not at all.
Cuomo?
Not Cuomo, the other guy.
Well, Como's definitely got a lot of spotlight for being a dick.
Yeah, I could see him doing some.
He's a
some stupid
douchebag, and
stuff
so
with-
is his brother. Ugh. Ugh.
Yeah, the only worse douche than him is the fucking chickadee that runs Michigan.
Oh,
Have you
Gretchen.
noticed her? She's had so much fucking Botox. That bitch can barely even
Well,
talk.
plus, if she was real ballsy, then why the fuck she wearing a bulletproof vest? That just tells you that she knows she fucked up.
Well, yeah, exactly, man. You know, why would any of them wear bulletproof vests going into their Capitol building? Because they know they're going against the Constitution, and the people are pissed because, believe it or not, there's enough of us that remember the damn Constitution and what it is,
Yeah,
what it's all about.
Got that
And
shit memorized.
they know they're in the wrong, and they think they're just waiting for their data in because they know that what they're doing, and
now
they're looking over their shoulder. They're like, "I'm really getting away with this."
Now
Right.
we go back to what Sparky was saying. If those guys were going to go in armed like that, they should have gone in all. They should have gone.
Should have at
Sparky,
least
yeah, Sparky was right on that. I mean, I didn't watch the whole video, but you know, if you're gonna fess up,
Oh yeah, Rui.
do
They
it.
should have, you know what they should have done
Yeah.
as a symbolic gesture? They should have went in there with resignation papers and held them up and kept chanting, "Resign, resign, resign." You know?
I'm not advocating for like that kind of stuff though, like not particularly violence. I just want people to stand for what they believe.
Amen.
Well, sometimes we don't get an option about violence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
that's
don't.
true.
People won't always give you.
Just because I haven't seen war doesn't mean that I'm not willing to get my hands dirty.
Well, I mean, okay. I mean, I'm kind of a good example here. 'Cause
Well, it ain't
when
right
I-
to show up
when I
like
when I mean,
somebody.
great. I imagine. Well, I don't know how you are in California, but like when I leave the house, I've always got a pistol with me at least, and a
Well,
spare magazine.
whether they like it or not.
Yeah, and I always carry that. You know, I carry it
You see
everywhere.
my knife, though. Yeah.
I'll leave it vague as to how I'm armed.
I actually pulled this out on someone because he ran me off the side of the road. He got out of his car, and then I pulled this out on him.
Oh no!
And he's like, "What are you gonna do?" You know, like, because I thought he was gonna pull out a pistol on me.
Yeah, I saw
And
you.
the next move would have probably been his life.
Okay. Oh, Johnny boy, right on. Thank you.
Yep.
No, I don't
carry,
want to be this way, but
Mhm.
people are losing their minds over this coronavirus. None of us want to be this way.
Some of them are. And it's ridiculous. I mean, the other day I saw a guy driving in his car by himself with a mask on. Oh, but he had a dog in the back. So maybe he didn't want the dog to catch it, but he did not have a mask on the dog. And so I was like, well, what are you
Animals tend to be asymptomatic.
what are you really doing here? I mean, shouldn't the dog have a mask too?
No,
Yeah.
it don't affect them like it does us. It can pass.
I don't know. Well, you heard about the new study, Gray, that they
It's
just
kind of
came out with.
scary, actually, if you think about it.
They
Because
tested,
genetic diseases are not natural.
great. I can't remember what country it was, but they tested a goat, a squirrel, and a papaya, and all three had COVID.
Once upon a time, we've owned. Yeah, but did they die from it or get sick? No.
No, but you know what the country did? They kicked out the WHO. They said, don't come back to our country. And Donald Trump is doing the same thing, which is smart.
Well, I was shooting the breeze. I was over at the auto parts store shooting the breeze with a dude from Jalisco, and just asking him if he's stuck here, and he's like, "Fuck yeah, I'm stuck here." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Where are you staying?" He's like, "I know people." I was like, "Fuck, what you doing all the way over from Jalisco?" And he's like, "Visiting family, man. I didn't even know this shit was gonna happen." Yeah.
Who? What the fuck?
That's not me.
That my phone. Hang on a second. I'll have to mute it.
Because
Oh.
that ain't me. Nobody ever
Oh.
calls me. I like it that way too.
How's it going?
Yeah. What are we talking about?
I don't know.
Where's Dangerous Freedom? We need a topic.
maybe he went to go take a piss. Who knows?
Oh, okay. I gotta think of
Walk
something to
over
talk
and
about.
That was my business line because I got all my other shit set to do not disturb, but my business line is still set open
All right.
because I'm open till 9 technically.
Open. Wait. Are you on the clock right now?
Nope, I'm on emergency standby.
Oh, so you're on call.
I'm on call.
Right.
There he is.
But if somebody has an emergency, they can drop it off with me, but it ain't getting fixed tonight.
Right.
You ready to go into the gas chamber, Dangerous Freedom?
At least someone's prepared.
They're like gas the Patriots.
Well, you know,
That looks really effective.
yeah, I'm fairly prepared for many.
All the servicemen shave their faces.
I know, yeah, but you know,
It's
I could
okay,
do
bro.
that. I could do that with a quick shave. I could be there in 5 minutes or less if I
Well,
needed.
I have an Israeli gas mask that I can pull
That's-
over that has a fucking full hood and everything.
Oh, there you go. Okay. Yeah, this is just a mask.
Because that's with my chemical hazmat training shit that I
Yeah,
had.
I got one for me and my boys, just in case.
Thank you, Robin. But I'm not living for this world. I'm living for the kingdom of God. So,
brother,
I'm not worried at
Right
all.
on. You know what? I'm not afraid either, at all.
Me neither.
I'm not afraid of these people.
I got no fear.
There's
I mean,
nothing that they can do to me. They can't oppress me. They just
hey,
they can't.
Jericho.
Nope. I'm at the point where I'm like, stand and deliver, bitch. Yeah.
These
Man.
people are, you know, and
Back-
for me, it's humorous to me just how much control they think they have and none.
Dude, like, I looked at a lot. I still watch a lot of World War II footage, and back in those days, people were men. Like,
Hey,
it was
Jericho.
me. It was
Yeah,
me
they were.
against you. You know,
Those guys
like,
had grit.
You know what? I love Effie. Effie, we need to start that political party. Leave me the F
Amen.
alone. Yeah.
That's right. The fuck off party.
The fuck off party. Yeah. Leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
I think we should put our heads together and make it
There'll
happen.
be a yellow flag with a middle finger in the center. It says
Yeah.
fuck off instead of don't tread on me.
We're a con-
Yeah, right, Eric.
we'll be
Yeah,
the
I've seen your
party,
beard.
you know?
Yeah, you got
The
one of
F
them
alone.
big old
Right
fluffy
on.
ones.
I still stand by "Don't tread on me." It still works, man.
I actually got
I
a
still like it.
Yeah.
Well,
come and
you
take
know,
it instead of the
and-
cannon. It's got a middle finger.
Well, this should be "Leave me the F alone." This is the land of the free, not the. This is the land of the free and the home of the brave, not the land of the free and the home of the slave.
Exactly.
No more peaceful slavery.
Hell
That's
no!
right.
If you want trouble, we'll give it to you.
We ain't looking for it, but if you come to dish out trouble,
Man, I'm telling you, I've got a gun in every room.
that's what I tell people. I'm a peaceful man, but if you come here
Dangerous is going to bring the freedom.
with malice in your heart, you will get
I guarantee you, I'm not getting no damn vaccine. If they come at me with that
I'm
needle,
not getting it either.
they're gonna have to dodge less.
Kiss my lily white ass. I'm not
Yeah,
getting.
I won't do shit that ain't.
If they want to fight,
if they
then
try
they're
to
going to get one,
do
right?
anything, that's a quick way to make me say hard no if you're forcing me. You know.
Mhm.
The
But my
problem
mom-
is
And I
they
afraid to hold my
want to say they want to fight, but then they want to hide.
me. Like
Yeah.
if they really push it, I'll pull a
The mess
pistol
with.
in somebody's head and say,
That's
"Try
what
to,"
we do.
you know.
Hey,
We've all-
so guys, Lone Star Preps is asking what the panel's thoughts on Trump using the military
Yeah,
to
no
get the first
doubt,
vaccine. Yeah, fucking right. It's not gonna
I
happen.
think it ain't gonna go as quietly as people think it is, and
Well,
I think
I
now-
watched a lot of what he said,
It's gonna,
and
yeah.
what he's doing, he's virtue signaling
Right.
to two different parties.
Okay, all right.
So I'm not sure what he's up to just yet.
He's virtue signaling to the left and virtue signaling to us. So where does he really stand? I don't think I could rely on
You're in a
Trump.
punch bowl.
Yeah.
It's not
I
gonna
like
happen.
Trump.
USA.
I like Trump. He exposed a lot of the deep state. He's done a lot of
Yeah.
good.
But he's still
But
playing
you know what?
game.
The way that he has allowed this to continue,
It's
it
still,
shouldn't.
Well,
He put it on into the governor's hands.
yeah, exactly. He put
But
it-
are they gonna take responsibility? Are we just gonna sit back and just wait for these governors?
prefer not to, but it seems like that's the way things are going because I'm one of those people that has a brain pan that others need desperately. So
Yeah.
I can't throw it away. I'm not allowed because it ain't all about me no more.
because at the same time,
So there's other
He's-
people that depend on me now.
there's
Exactly.
there's two ways this can go, and Trump knows it.
Always, mostly.
He's going to
okay.
either try and push the vaccination, or he's either going to say, because he came out defending protesters. He's like, they're really not doing anything wrong.
They
You
are.
know, like besides whatever social distancing they're trying to say.
Besides,
But
that shit ain't written into law. That shit.
People, and he comes out and says, like, people want to go to work, leave them alone, whatever.
That's what I.
But
would
at
do.
the same time, he's taken another stance on another scenario where he's focusing on like the vaccine and the ways to go about it or whatever.
Well,
So
you know,
I think the deep state has got him in some sort of mess. I don't know.
They've got something on them. I get
Well,
you
they
there.
do, like, I don't really
As
think
far
so. I don't
as far as this whole vaccine thing goes, I think he's going to leave it up to the individual person. I know we hear all these
Well,
things. Like,
as per medical law, it is up to the person. You have the right to refuse
Unless-
medical treatment, and you do have the right to refuse a vaccine. We
unless
just have to remember that.
Yep.
there's a
And now
difference.
you might work at a place that says if you don't have this vaccine, then you can't work here. In
Yeah,
which
look.
case, I'm prepared for that too. I've already got another job lined up. In fact, I may go to that anyways, just because I don't know if my job is. really
Dude, I dare my job to fire me because I don't get a vaccine. I'll be out there rattling some cages like nothing else.
There's a reason why I went to work for myself back in 2012. Because I knew some shit like this was going to happen. I didn't know what the crisis was going to be, but I knew we were entering the artificial crisis phase.
Wow, you saw it way back then.
Fuck yeah, I did. Remember, I'm actually an intelligence guy. I'm Signal Corps, which is military intelligence.
Yeah, no, those two words just don't go hand in hand.
Well, not with the traditional military, but with us, it makes sense.
Well, there's a lot that ended up. I mentioned earlier that I started having just strange dreams. But before that, and I'm going to say this was probably like 2014-ish, I started seeing number sequences everywhere. Have you seen that, Gray?
Yeah.
Like Call of Duty.
Well,
No.
have you watched much of Mr. Cat Eye?
Fire.
No, there's no. I started seeing 1111 everywhere.
Yeah.
Like it was on receipts. It was it was on receipts. It was on plates. I would see that number everywhere.
Once upon a time, I was a
Make-A-Wish.
linguist.
You know, at 11:11, you'd have to make a wish.
All right. Do you know what a
That's one of those
cryptologic
things.
linguist is?
A what?
A cryptologic linguist.
No, I've never heard of it.
That's what I used to be.
Interesting. Well,
1 second. I'll be right back.
I wasn't always a mechanic, you know. But
so
when I became invisible, a true gray man, I had to find another line of work to get away from the government contract bullshit.
Okay. Yeah, Ross probably would have been better for us. If we could have elected Ross, hell, you know what? If we could have gotten Ron Paul in there, would have been the best thing ever.
So a cryptologist. So does this tie in with the number sequences? I'm assuming it does. Otherwise, I don't think you would have brought it up. So what is your take on seeing number sequences everywhere? Suddenly.
I'm noticing them as a sequential flag to certain parties. I'm still gathering information, but really it is it's under the rug signaling and patterns. Essentially, when you generate something that's supposed to be false flags, for instance, those sort of things start following a formulaic pattern that you will notice in things that happen to surround false flag incidents because they are artificial. Now, really, it's a distraction away. What it is it's a distraction and it's not. The reason why it is and it isn't is on the isn't side, it's because the real thing you're going to have to worry about is not some fucking RFID chip or anything implanted in you. That is more or less just a testing the waters psyop that they put out there to see how people react to it. But in reality, what they'd like to do to us is the QR code system is what they would like to bring in. And the reason why you see a bunch of numeric sequences in a certain pattern is because they're gearing up for that. There's already the framework put in place for it. Like at first, they'll say, okay, we'll put it on your cell phone. So see, it's not the mark of the beast. There's no microchip in a person. But then they're going to say, we got to wear a mask for a bit longer. And then they're going to say, we have to wear a mask indefinitely, but we need a means of identifying everyone in public. But we don't want to intrude on your privacy by having access to your cell phone. So we would like to propose a invisible QR code that we can imprint on you very easily in an outpatient procedure. It could be on your hand, or it
So
can
they
be on
want
your
to brand us.
but
Like
only a UV spectrum camera will be able to see it. So we will have our identity concealed from each other, but machines will be able to see our identity.
So what? How does this tie into me seeing number sequences everywhere? Am I picking up something that I don't know?
What you're doing is you're picking up artificially created incidents. There's also a workaround. There's a project that was called mnemonic graffiti that was designed as a means of blade running, essentially.
Is it like paganism?
No, you're going to have to be quiet for a minute while I explain this one, because this is a lengthy one. Mnemonic graffiti was a program designed by the U.S. Air Force at Cheyenne Mountain for the purposes of identifying artificial intelligence, whether it's sentient or just highly intelligent. So they could differentiate AI that's sentient from human beings. It was a test, but it was also a means to work around them, a countermeasure, so to speak. A way to communicate around artificial intelligence ability to figure out what the message itself is by using images and words. Think meme language. But
so how am I able to pick up these numbers then? I shouldn't be able to pick these up.
You're aware of something following a pattern and not natural occurrence.
You think that has anything to do with the Illuminati?
I don't use that word in public because people are so heavily programmed to be cognitively dissonant towards it. But sort of. In reality, they're more or less useful idiots too.
Yeah, majority of them.
Does anybody else here in the chat see number sequences?
No, I don't see number sequences.
I forget what the phenomenon is called. I'll have to look back into it. It's been a while since I've done this kind of work.
I've seen movies. God, what was that one?
Well, I also see sequences of 3s and 2s and 5s, and I see 7s quite a bit, 8s. I don't really see 6s all that often. I've seen 12, like 12, 10, 10.
Is it like deja vu, or is it like you're looking for it?
No, it'll just show up. It'll just show up on receipts, or it'll show up on things that I'm adding up. Like I'll be adding up numbers or something at work, and these numbers will pop up.
The term for it is metacode.
Yeah.
Metacode
every
to track things without us being aware of it. What you've picked up is an ability to notice metacode.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're smarter than you think.
People don't. Apparently, you have it. Congratulations.
And welcome to your own nightmare. because I don't,
The
you know,
gift
I mean,
It's
I'm
been interesting
knowing
because
too much.
not only do I see numbers, but I have very powerful dreams, and some of the dreams that I've had, I woke up crying from.
Yeah,
Night terrors.
I understand.
Well, no. Do you want to hear probably one of my most frightening dreams?
Yes.
In this dream, I was standing in the middle of a city, a large American city. It was very sunny. It looked like California. It looked like Los Angeles or something like that. There were people, and I was standing on a busy on a sidewalk of a busy street. There were cars going by. There were trees. People were just walking by me, going into shops and doing whatever. And that was when I saw a bright light, a blinding light. And that was when everybody around me, the buildings, the trees, and everything vaporized around me. And I was watching it happen. I wasn't affected by it, but I watched it happen. Everything gone. From there, I lifted off, and it was like I was flying over the planet. And I saw, the London clock. That was on fire, and the whole city of London was just burning to the ground. I saw the Eiffel Tower. It was burning to the ground. Everything was on fire. And then I flew around the globe a little further, and I landed in a place that looked like, well, it was my understanding in the dream that it was Russia. And everything was just charred. The earth was so hot and charred that it was bellowing lava. And everybody was dead. Like everybody was gone. And then from there, it was like I teleported, and I was in this facility, and there were little children running around, and there were generations of people, but these little children were running around in these underground facilities. And then there was something in the dream that told me that they were called Ark. And then I woke up. That one I cried from.
wow.
I know you might not be a big believer in God, but if I were to have that dream, I don't think I would be afraid, to be honest with you.
Well, the reason why I'm not afraid is because I was not affected by it. It was like I just saw it.
Oh.
But but what made me cry was the sheer sadness of the idea of everybody being gone.
Yeah.
When I looked around, everybody was gone.
Well, little known fact about me is I'm actually an empathetic.
No doubt, right?
What was that,
New York
Greg?
Outcast. If you start building an arc, let me know. I'm with you on that.
No, it was an acronym, ARK. It stood for something, but I don't know. But it was an acronym, ARK.
Somebody mentioned the other day because
But Gray was saying something. What did you say, Gray?
I forgot.
You said it sounded like you said you were an empathetic person or something.
Yeah, I mean, I had to condition myself to be this way.
Yeah. It doesn't become natural to everybody.
My stock profile is not a military person. I'm an empathetic person, but I had to compartmentalize myself.
So basically, like the old motto, fight now and cry later.
Essentially, I restructured my operating system for combat.
Yeah. Fight now, cry later. We have to be ready for the fight. We can't sit there and be this is
well, I think
it may not be bare knuckle combat, but it means that I had to make myself okay with the fact that I'm going to see terrible things. And the
biggest problem is we don't know where to fight. Like we don't know where the battle is all the time, but it's all around us.
It is.
Well, and here's the thing that I think that Dream was pointing out to me is the people that are running this, they are in a zero-sum game for keeps, and
they have no consequence.
And the way that they're looking at us in the world is like we are a whore that if they can't have us, no one can.
That's exactly how it is going to be, because remember, they have to
eliminate a
large percentage of the population, which is why this virus, something a lot of people don't know about this virus that I'm still researching and still trying to get more information on, is how much of the HIV genome that it has grafted into it using the Cas9 CRISPR system. See, I know a lot about this that a lot of people don't know. Like, for example, this virus originated in Harvard University. It wasn't necessarily anything weaponized, but it was a chimera experiment using the Cas9 gene editing system to create chimera. See, they were trying to create viruses that can combat other viruses. But first, they had to baby step and figure out how to combine a direct RNA transcription system like that possessed by the HIV virus with a relatively innocuous virus like the flu, like influenza, that could infect people, but a lot of people have countermeasures already built into their spacer DNA to deal with it. But see, by giving the virus direct RNA transcription ability, like the HIV virus, it would allow the virus itself to act as a Cas9 delivery system for modifying spacer DNA code, which would essentially infect you with a virus that would just make you feel a little bad for a week, but would give you immunity to things like the Black Plague, AIDS, shit like that. Some forms of cancer would even be combated, the main focus being on pancreatic cancer. But the Chinese stole the shit from Harvard, took it back home, decided, hey, let's fucking hot rod it before we ever fucking built the wheel that we stole in the first place. Who cares if we know how it works or not? Let's fucking assume we do.
What do you mean we stole it?
I didn't say we, the fucking United States. They fucking stole it.
Well, they had help from people that were working at the Harvard University.
Well, I've also got proof of all of this, including the arrest records of the people who fucking stole it, got it out of the country, and are wanted by Interpol.
Wow.
That didn't make the fucking news, though, oddly.
No. News stories like that never do.
Well, have you noticed that a lot of these news media companies are basically sucking China's dick anyway?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the World Health
But
Organization.
here's what the Chinese did. They're like,
They
hey,
definitely are.
look,
Now,
it was innocuous. It wasn't really meant to be a weapon. The Chinese just said, hey, we got this new wheel. We don't need to build the wheel exactly as the designs that we just stole. Let's fucking figure out how to make a better wheel before we ever fucking built the original wheel we stole in the first place to see how it works. They're fucking retarded like that. But see, the United States. No, I'm not done yet. The United States is aware of this. Actually, 3 FBI agents were aware that a Chinese national student was in the Cas9 program.
Wow.
And may have been planning to steal this shit to give Chinese biotech firms in Wuhan a leg up. State-owned biotech firms.
Man,
Cas9
at this point, I'm
called the Odin. Look it up. A guy invented this project and made it open source because he didn't want it silenced. Because he originally designed the Cas9 CRISPR system to, in an effort, fight cancer. He found out that most cancers are a cell clock that does not die after 33 days. The cell, instead of dying at the prescribed time, it continues to grow and reproduce, but damaged. So he found a way to, in theory,
I don't really buy into the whole virus thing. Even, like, I know you're like
buy into
researching.
what? I'm still explaining my fucking self.
You see the question by Lone Star.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're all right, PDX.
Like, they're not even fucking done yet. But yes, it's made here. It was never designed to be a weapon or anything like that. It's the big clusterfuck that they allowed to happen because they were hoping it would play out exactly like it fucking did. And there's actually 3 different fucking strains of this virus going around the world. And guess what?
Yeah.
Our own fucking people infected us here to make sure that we didn't get the fucking actual bad strain that's modified over there, which is why we have more asymptomatic cases here than we have actual lethality cases.
Oh my God. I wish we had Mayhem's wife here because she said that fucking months, over a month ago. She's like, dude, there's 3 different strains.
And the fun fact is, I've got fucking proof. I'm not the only one either because I am.
Yeah. Are you gonna go Ed Snowden on it?
Fuck no, I got other people to do that for me. I've got other shit to do.
I didn't catch what PDX said. He was just like, oh, I guess, yeah, I guess maybe a lot.
Yeah, I guess maybe a lot.
Oh, did you lose
Are you
signal?
echoing me? Yeah, sorry. Are you echoing though?
What?
It was momentary. Everything's clear at the moment, Pete.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I got a phone call and then.
What are you doing it by iPhone?
I lost the signal and.
You're coming through adequately at the moment.
Yeah. Okay, so great. Go on. So, no, you're not the first person I've heard that there are 3 different strains.
Remember, I'm on the intel side. It's just I don't work for the government anymore.
But you still have contacts.
Mm-hmm. And it's not even secret information either. It's not top secret.
Obviously not. I've heard it. I'm just a civilian.
See, they figured out the people's method, the gray man's method of hide in plain sight. So it can be looked up, but they understand that they've conditioned people with cognitive dissonance enough that if it does get looked up by people that are not programmed, that the program didn't take to, people are conditioned to just fucking deny it and just close their ears and go la 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 la, even if they see the proof.
Yeah. God, sad but true. Sad but true.
Which is why, like I said, I'm not the only one that knows because I'm not the only person who ever had a clearance once upon a time and has been to Cheyenne.
Effie. Yeah, that's a good. I love it. Yeah, we should TP it, or maybe just
TP the mansions. That would be kind of funny.
Where
That
do I
would
look for open source info? Lone Star. I look on SourceForge first and foremost, and actually, SourceForge is actually starting to carry gene mapping open source software as well. I even built a fucking Raspberry Pi that's it takes 4 of them, daisy chains them together, and you can actually use it as a simple gene sequencer.
Man, now you're talking science that I'll never understand. I mean,
That's why the intelligence branches, whether they're government or otherwise, have people like me.
So do we have clones in our society?
I don't know. I don't follow that very much because I consider it irrelevant.
What about AI?
Well, think about it. If we did have a clone, what would we do about it? Technically, it's a human being, and they're an individual. So really, not much you can do about it. You can't off them because they're a human being, meaning they have human rights, whether they were artificially created or not. That's why it's a slippery slope, and I just think that they should have left the cloning process should have human beings alone, but there have been experiments.
Yeah.
And yes, there are some clones, but I don't think they're out in the public, to be honest.
You think they keep them like in a bunker or something?
Isolated in a bubble world. Mostly to allow AI to analyze human behavior and human thought process.
Well, couldn't the AI on the internet actually start? I mean, if you take a look at the internet, it's
Well, they
basically
used
a
to kidnap
representative. It's a
homeless
representation
people
of the
to
collective
experiment
human
on.
consciousness.
Once upon a time, they used to kidnap homeless people to experiment on.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Found out that it was cheaper and easier to just home grow your own. Then they technically don't have rights or anything, and you can ex-nay their ass if you need to in a moment's notice.
Why are they trying to make robots? Well, PDX, because they don't want to send actual people out there to go get shot when they try and take the citizens' guns, because most American cops know that if they try and disarm an American citizen, there's a higher chance that it's going to get ugly. So if they have drones that could go in and do it, they would rather do that. It's not going to work. I don't see AI working at all. I mean, they can't even get self-driving cars that work properly. I mean, we do have drones, but those drones are even driven by or are piloted by a actual person, you know. And I don't like the idea of automated intelligence, because I mean, I've seen Terminator enough times. No, no, I don't trust robots. I don't trust artificial intelligence. None of it. Yeah, even this stupid phone of mine. You know, it's like it's like 7 years old, and half the time I don't trust it. That's why I've got two-way radios and a ham radio. Hey, Tammy, how you doing, hon? How's everything coming from the North Arizona desert? Well, I can't. Hello? Cheshire?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering. Nobody was saying anything. I'm Seven Wonders.
No, I'm just scanning the chat. So
Yeah. The gray area. Considering Trump's pride in touting the best economy ever and the lowest unemployment, what is his motivation to sacrifice all of that for a fake threat? Wow,
I hear something that almost sounds like a heartbeat or like a something.
That's my son playing his drums in the background. Oh, here comes my other son on his walker. Hold on, I'm gonna turn off the camera. But he's the one that broke his leg in half, like literally in half. He's got a freaking pin in it and everything. What's going on, son? It's still.
No. Is it just us chickens? Oh, there he is.
All right. Robin says hello.
Mm-hmm. Hello.
Yeah, that's one tough kid. You know, even the doctor told me that when he broke his leg. Because a lot of people ask him, like, how do you do it? And he's like, I was about the fourth rung up, and I lost my footing, and he slid down and landed on his leg, and he just landed wrong, and
Duarte Andrade Adeo. I actually think AI is going to be basically what you call the Antichrist.
Yeah. Well, I totally believe that. Yep. So, anyways, I've raised a tough family. I mean, we get injured, and half the time we're like, "Oh man, you're bleeding," and it's like, well, I don't even know how I did that. You know what I mean? We're just that kind of family.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't even know I was bleeding. Thanks for telling me. Although, I did buy a lot more compression bandages, and I bought a couple more tourniquets. I got more band-aids. I already had plenty of beans and bullets, so I wasn't too worried about any of this shit. I'm just still stocking up. I'm just still stocking up on some of the last minute stuff that I might need. And like Sparky was saying, when I get that armor, I'm gonna have to practice with it. I know I'm gonna have to practice, but that'll be a good workout. I bet you.
All right. I had to go deliver a vehicle back to a customer.
Right on. You do you.
All right, Gray.
They
You know
show
what? I think we're gonna probably head out here anyways. But thank you very much for joining us, brother, and we will talk to you soon.
Mm-hmm. Well, I can explain more too if you want to know more about the Cas9 editing system that was stolen from Harvard.
7 Wonders. You know what? We'll get back. You know, I don't know. How much time do you got? Gray area here. I'll post this.
I've got enough time for a reply.
Okay. All right. Right. 7 Wonders. Here we go. Here we go. All right. There it is.
Well, see, he doesn't get to make all of his decisions on his own. Unfortunately, he has to play. He has to play the game. But in reality, this is just my own opinion. I can't substantiate to a satisfactory degree, but I think he's unaware that he has also controlled opposition.
Yeah. Almost like a puppet.
Yeah, not quite though. They left him autonomous for a reason, because it's good for optics. It keeps a lot of people distracted, especially with the Orange Man bad shit, which allows them to get a lot more work done that they were behind schedule on, that they have to get finished by 2023.
2023 now?
Yes, Agenda 21 implementation begins in 2020 in the fourth quarter of the year, but the framework has been installed ahead of time. And then the framework is supposed to be built upon and completed by 2023.
Good night, Effie. Okay, so you're saying Trump is not complicit in this whole thing? He's just a cog in the wheel, or the cog in the machine
that they need, that they can control, because he's still playing by the rules, because he doesn't know what he's up against. He thinks that he's playing the best game of his life, and if the circumstances were any different, it would be true. But in reality, they're leading him on.
All right. I think we're about done with I don't know. Does anybody else have any questions? All right. Well, you know what? Let me start off by saying, people. Oh wow, New York. Wow, 2 different calibers. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the chat.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a pleasure. Thanks for having me on again.
No problem. Everybody in the chat, I will see you all soon, and most of you I already follow. If you don't follow anybody in the chat, it would be a good idea to check them out, because you know, we're trying to unite. That really is part of the biggest part of my channel, is to try and unite people. That's why I have opposing views and opinions, because if everybody's just like, oh yeah, it gets boring, and it turns into an echo chamber, and it doesn't get us anywhere. We need to have different views. I mean, I'd be interested in having a Democrat in here, but I don't think any Democrat would really want to come in here.
You know what though? We butt heads. I think here in the some of us panelists, we definitely spar and butt heads
Yeah,
Take
occasionally.
it personally. We work past it. We work through it.
yeah, exactly. We communicate. We're like the Federalists, and the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. I mean, they had opposing opinions on a lot of things, but they always found a common ground, which is our Bill of fucking Rights. Everybody deemed those necessary.
And honestly, I've never ever understood people that excommunicated people out of their lives because they didn't agree lockstep 100% for them. I don't understand that mindset.
That either.
It's really stupid. Like, there's got to be a recognition that we're each individuals, and of course we don't think the same. We're different people. You know, we're not supposed to think the same.
Oh, I have something interesting to point out too, if I may, before we conclude.
By all means.
Has anyone else noticed that Facebook sent out a request to people with technical prowess, offering a $100,000 reward to anybody that could teach a dumbass AI how to understand meme magic? And here's the funny thing. Actually, it's funny how a lot of kids, like I've noticed this particularly in high school age children, they've accidentally discovered what was a shelved military project called mnemonic graffiti. Basically, these kids learned how to talk with emojis, custom emojis, not standard issue ones, and memes that an AI has no fucking way to understand. So it essentially glances over it like metadata that isn't worth logging, which is why some places get away with so much shit compared to others.
Wow.
You know, because like I said, the project was designed as a means to identify AI from human beings, and also as a means of countermeasures to communicate around artificial intelligence observation. Essentially, the military, particularly the Air Force, was a little bit paranoid about sentient AI and just highly intelligent learning machines as well, and needed to develop a means to communicate out in the open around them without them understanding. And what they didn't understand was they accidentally, like, it just blows my mind that out in the wild, people that are completely unaware of the project adapted in their own way to the project and essentially learned how to communicate in a way AI couldn't understand. So it fascinates me. Like, I'm still looking into how this happened, because accidents like this don't just happen, you know? But I haven't gotten to the bottom of it, but the project was scrapped back in 2011. But that just means it became public domain at that point. But I kept up on the project and observing more about it. So it is fascinating, as all powerful as people think AI are, actually, they're quite vulnerable.
And they're not bulletproof either.
So keep that in mind. Don't let them scare you if you know how to communicate in a way they can't understand.
Oh, okay.
One of these days on another episode, I'll actually further explain the mnemonic graffiti project.
Okay.
You want to know something? It actually might be interesting to even look into, because it might be a viable way that people on our end can communicate, bypassing their algorithms.
Like smoke signals, almost.
Basically, yeah, it's a means of communication that only human beings can understand. So it's like Blade Runner shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm down, dude. Actually, Gray, we already talk on the phone. We'll discuss this in the future, the short future.
It'll take a lot more than like 10 minutes to explain.
That's all right, dude. I mean, we'll talk private, well, as private as we can on a cell phone.
Well, we can, because like I said, the project's not secret. It got scrapped. because they didn't think it was viable, but it turns out, yeah, it was. So their loss, my gain.
Christy. All right. I think we're going to go ahead and call it a night. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. And we'll be back here again next Saturday night.
But yeah, think modern day wind talkers.
Yeah, exactly. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for hanging out. And I'm just so glad that we have so many like-minded people here. Jericho, this weekend, I don't know about you. I got your text earlier. We'll hang out. Oh, 9 Millie, yeah. We were here for 3 hours too. All right. You take care, everybody.